It's all corner around this racetrack. We'll talk more about that later, but right now they have fired the engines. Let's go down to the pole. And Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, Rusty Wallace has been waiting for a little over a week now. Yesterday in practice, he had one of the fastest, if not the fastest cars out here. He's ready to go. Rusty, you're going to make that week's wait worth it all?
I can't really hear you real good. Everything's pretty loud out here, but I don't expect the track to change much today. I think it's going to be in pretty good shape. The car was great in last practice last night. The snow didn't slow us none. It's just a different day. I'm not used to racing on Saturdays.
Okay, we wish him the best of luck. Now let's go way back in the pack to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Glenn Jarrett, I'm standing back here in the 17th row. This is where our Winston Cup points leader is sitting, Dale Jarrett, who is just buckling up to get ready for this 500 miles. Now, Dale did not have a very good qualifying run, and on top of that, he has come down with the flu. He is not feeling very well, and he just hopes that he can go the distance. So Dale Jarrett, our Winston Cup points leader, not feeling well. He does not have a driver standing by as of right now. So although he's not feeling well, he shouldn't feel very lonely, because back here with him at the starting grid, Kyle Petty will start in the 27th position. Then it's Alan Kawicki. He's starting way back in the 27th position. Of course, he's the 1992 Winston Cup champion. Davey Allison starting 31st, and way back in the field is Darrell Waltrip. He is in the 35th starting position. Of course, Darrell, the three-time Winston Cup champion. We'll be back with live flag-to-flag coverage of the Motorcraft 500 coming up.
Let's have a look at the starting grid here in Atlanta for the Motorcraft 500. On the pole, Rusty Wallace, who won here in 1988 in the Miller Pontiac. Dale Earnhardt's won 6 times here at Atlanta. In row number 2, Mark Martin is 3rd in the point standings, and Jeff Gordon got his first Busch Series win right here. Row 3, Ernie Irvan debuted with the Kodak team here 3 years ago. Brett Bodine makes his 12th Atlanta start. Morgan Shepherd, who has 2 victories here, and former Winston Cup champ Terry Labonte in row 4. Ted Musgrave is 9th on the grid and 9th in the point standing. Kenny Schrader won this race in 1991. Derek Cope, strong start for the Cale Yarborough team, and Dick Trickle was 3rd here 4 years ago. Rick Mast had the pole here last November, and Ricky Rudd won this race in '87. Bill Elliott, defending champion of the Motorcraft 500, and Harry Gant, 3 second-place finishes here. Bobby Labonte, one of those top rookie drivers, and Jimmy Spencer, the Bobby Allison Ford. In row 10, Bobby Hillen finished 6th here in '88, and Sterling Marlin in the Stavola car. Row 11, Jeff Bodine, 4th in the point parade, and Mike Waltrip was 5th here 2 years ago. Former Rookie of the Year Bobby Hamilton lines up alongside Rick Wilson in the Richard Petty Pontiac. Bill Parsons starts his first race here in 4 years. He's off to a good run this season. So is Kenny Wallace, a promising rookie. Kyle Petty has 8 top 10 finishes here. Lake Speed, the go-kart champ. Defending Winston Cup champ Alan Kulwicki is one of the drivers way back in the pack next to Joe Ruttman. And in the 16th row finds Davey Allison. Looking for his first Atlanta win, Jimmy Horton alongside. Dale Jarrett, the point leader, is deep in the field today. So is Hut Strickland, who's 7th in the points. There's Darrell Waltrip. Worst start of his Winston Cup career, 35th today. Wally Dollenbach alongside. Jimmy Means is back from the injuries at Daytona. He starts next to Dave Marcus. And the final row is Bob Schacht from Illinois, and Greg Sachs replaces P.J. Jones in the Harry Melling Ford. P.J. driving for Dan Gurney's Toyota team today in the 12 Hours of Sebring. The point leaders look like this. Jarrett just a point ahead of Earnhardt, Martin, Bodine, and Wallace. And look how they're shuffled through this starting lineup. Wallace and Earnhardt on the front row. Jarrett, Martin, and Bodine will start this race a little further back. Martin in 3rd, of course. But as you get deeper in the points, things scramble up even more. Alan Kulwicki is 6th. Strickland, Allison, Musgrave, and Gordon positions 6 through 10. Look how they're jumbled up on the start. 3 more in the top 10 way deep in the field. Back to the 15th position. Look at that. 5 drivers are knotted within just 17 points. And they, too, are sprinkled throughout this starting lineup. He'll be riding along with 3 cars today. Rusty Wallace in the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac from the pole. He'll be riding with Rusty. The standard race cam bolted to the roll cage gives you this view, and it tilts and pans. And also we'll have a face cam in Rusty's car. You rode with him at work at Rockingham when he rode to victory here on TNN. Also we'll be driving with Jeff Bodine and Mark Martin today. Let's look further back in the field. There's Jeff Bodine's Motorcraft Ford, the Bud Moore car. And again, the standard race cam mounted just over his shoulder. And we'll have a suspension cam in the right front of Jeff's ride. Looks a little different from the bobsled he's been working on. Also, Mark Martin will be carrying our third in-car camera in the Jack Roush Valvoline Ford. There's the race cam inside Mark's car. And the roof cam. That's the best look at what Mark Martin sees as he comes around the corner of turn 4 and we prepare for the start of the Motorcraft 500. 328 laps around this 1.5 mile oval, quarter-mile straightaways, half-mile turns. Wallace will be out in front of Earnhardt as they come down for the green flag. Mark Martin trying to get the second on the inside of turn 1. Earnhardt right back at him. Takes over second. Back straightaway.
The pack.
Up to the pole sitter to set the pace. He got a good jump. That yellow car is Ernie Irvin moving up on the inside of rookie Jeff Gordon. And Rusty Wallace leads his first lap in Atlanta since the spring of 1990.
I think he might have a road race transmission in that thing. He really got out of here when that takeoff. Getting Earnhardt jumped out from everybody.
Side by side, 4th place. And rookie Jeff Gordon trying to edge in front of Ernie Irvin.
This one's going to be a good racing at this racetrack. You can run high and low. A lot of tracks we go to, there's a real preferred line. But this track here, you can run high or low and get around here quick.
First lap, 174.5 miles an hour. They're single file back through about 10th spot. Rusty Wallace has opened up about 7 car lanes on Earnhardt, Mark Martin, Ernie Irvin, Jeff Gordon in 5th, Brett Bodine is 6th, Morgan Shepherd 7th. Kenny Schrader moving up to take over 8th. Now most of the field has gone single file. Not a lot of practice time here, only an hour and a half yesterday, as we look back in the pack, where Kyle Petty, Davey Allison, Darrell Walsh, Dale Jarrett are trying to move up through.
This is where there's a big concern at this racetrack, Mike. We saw the last race of the season last year. Davey Allison in the points battle get tangled up in traffic. You really got to be careful. Buddy mentioned top of the show how if you have a wreck, it clogs the whole track up. So they've got to be concerned with this kind of traffic.
You see Mark Martin standing on the bottom of the racetrack, and Dale looked like he pushed up in the center part of the corner, and Mark just drove away from him. I mean, Mark in practice yesterday, he and Rusty Wallace were the fastest 2 cars, and it's showing right now that they're still the fastest.
About 90 minutes of practice yesterday for Winston Cup drivers after a week layoff due to snow here last weekend. Wallace with a 1.4-second lead. There's Mark Martin's view of the rest of the field. Irvin and Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon look like Daytona deja vu.
Boy, I tell you what, the 4 car got completely sideways in, and he backed out of it a little bit. He's checking up on it to make sure he don't have tire problems or something, because that car got completely sideways.
Morgan Shepherd is with him, and Kenny Schrader is running. There's Schrader's white car, the Kodiak car, you see the Brett Bodine. Schrader started 10th, moved up to the 25 car, and now goes underneath Morgan Shepherd. Gordon and Earnhardt. Gordon is not content to ride this time.
Daytona. Looks like he's learned a lot. He's in a race and run with Earnhardt for 2nd position. Excuse me, a 3rd position. Cleared him.
Field back to the front straightaway. 6 laps on the board. Wallace, then Jeff Gordon, Earnhardt, Irvin, and Shepherd. Let's go down to pit road and check with Randy Pemberton.
Well, we talk about Jeff Gordon, and what a story this
Trouble in
is.
turn 1, Randy. One car apparently has lost the motor. Drifts down to the bottom of the racetrack. That's Bob Shack, the second-year driver out of Illinois who came off the ARCA circuit. There's oil down the front straightaway, and we're under caution. Let's go back to Randy. We'll check back there in a moment. Shack is going to coast around, and it looks like to the garage area. First caution flag of the day.
As he came down the front straightaway, it just exploded.
7 laps were under caution with Rusty Wallace leading Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon. We'll be right back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, live on TNN. We're back live at Atlanta, and we're under caution. Here's the way the top 5 are running as several cars have visited pit road. Watching these pictures from behind that rundown of the top 10. It's an aerial view of Atlanta here. Atlanta Motor Speedway is going to call it. Terry Gann, who's in the pits with the hood up.
Yeah, you know, a lot of cars came in on this caution. Hadn't had a lot of practice time making chassis adjustment. Gann's got some kind of major problem there on the hood. It's a shame there. Usually runs really well in this racetrack too.
First second here 3 times for his first win. Now he's still on the lead lap. It goes back out. Jeff Bodine also got a little lengthy stay on pit road. So an adjustment on the Motorcraft. There's Bodine going back out. First caution of the day for Bob Shack's engine. We invite your comments here on TNN, and more specifically your questions about this race. If there's something that you're seeing that you'd like to know more about, call us up. It's toll free, 1-800-451-7331. Operators are standing by. Stephanie and Sheila will take your questions there in Nashville, forward them to us, and we'll pass them on to the road to my colleagues Buddy Baker and Neil Bonnet, try to get your answers. Any questions we can't use on today's show, we'll forward on to Inside Winston Cup Racing and Race Day. You may see them there on TNN. So, Wallace, the leader from lap 1. Kyle Petty has come from 27th to 20th. Alan Kulwicki started 29th. He moves up to 23rd. Looking at Jeff Gordon, who's the 3rd place car behind Mark Martin, ahead of Dale Earnhardt and Ernie Irvan. Let's get out of pit road. Randy Pemberton.
Well, just before the crash of the blown engine, we were speaking of Jeff Gordon. He has really taken the Winston Cup world by storm, but it was last year here that he won a Busch Grand National race, his first ever on this Atlanta track. Now this year here, he's got 2 top 10 finishes already, 1 top 5. And I'll tell you where he qualified, guys. All the people were talking about him in the garage area. Expect him to be a contender all day long. He's still just 21 years old, and this kid can actually go to victory lane here today.
One of 3 talented rookies in this field, all off the Busch series that we covered in depth last year. Gordon, Bobby Labonte, Kenny Wallace, Neil arguably Jeff Gordon quickest out of the box, but talked to Bobby Labonte last night at dinner. They've made some changes, so they expect that Ford of theirs to run much better this week and through the season, and Kenny Wallace too coming up to speed. Remember, most of the Busch drivers have not seen this racetrack, not driven here. Jeff Gordon did race here last year, so he may have a leg up on the other 2 rookies at the moment. We are still under caution, and it looks like 1 to go. We will get a restart here.
You know, Mike Rusty jumped out that big lead a week ago when the weather was bad. In the practice sessions, he was always the quickest car, and they unloaded the thing yesterday, and he's been quick. It's it seems like sometimes you take a car to the track and everything's just right. It's going to take a strong car to get around him.
The early practice times from yesterday afternoon showed he was the quickest.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, we're going to see when they drop the green flag. I think the 6 car is running just as well as he is. Talk about Jeff Gordon and the guys that are running the rookie here. I don't know if the year that's had 3 guys that can win that thing. Those quality of drivers that they have this year. I mean, each one of those guys is going to have parts of the year that they're really going to dominate as far as the rookie of the year campaign.
It's been a long time since we had this talented a rookie crop.
Rusty clearing the tires off, getting the debris off of the tires for the restart. See this car shaking around, just getting that buildup off, because they sail off in this first turn at the same kind of mile per hour that you see at Daytona and Talladega, the big tracks. So it's plenty fast.
Gant, Bodine, and Jimmy Means pitted under the caution. On the restart, it'll be Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin in 2nd, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, Ernie Irvan in 5th, Morgan Shepherd, Kenny Schrader, Brett Bodine. So gets set to wind things up here once again. 1 caution so far for Bob Shack, an engine down the front straightaway. And we're getting ready to go back to green. Pace car is in. Green flag. At lap 10. Lap 11, Wallace hangs them down as we begin lap 12, and Earnhardt goes right with those cool tires. Maybe he's trying to make the move now before they heat up.
Neil, do they have a special transmission? I know you do a lot of testing for Earnhardt. Do they have a special transmission that accelerates and restarts better than most of the other guys?
A lot of these teams are starting to use that Jericho, yourself, which is like a road race transmission, gives you a lot better gear selection, and a lot of the guys are working on these things. Accelerate up to speed is so critical.
Boy, look at that. That makes me homesick there, Neil.
Yes, sir.
That's as close to it being a race car driver as anybody ever wants to be. That's exactly what it looks like, folks.
Well, look at the dirt. You know, I saw Rusty go down where the motor blew the lap before, sling up a little bit of smoke. I thought it was smoke, but he just threw it on the racetrack.
Oil dry, chunks of rubber that come off some of these cars. There's a plastic plastic over the lens of that roof cam on Mark Martin's car. It slides across to keep that lens clean. Pass for second, and they're beginning to jumble up here back at second or third spot on back.
What you see is Earnhardt got the jump on the lead. Here comes Jeff right back by him again. I think Earnhardt's got a pushing position in the center of the corner, and he's having a problem.
Watch the 21 car. Morgan Shepherd on the bottom there. 2 of his 3 Winston Cup victories have come here at Atlanta.
He's always really good at this racetrack, and working with his car. He's been good. That's a good combination for Atlanta. And I think one other thing we're seeing also, we see Jeff Gordon right there with Earnhardt. All the races we've been to before, he says, I'm going to take it easy. I think we see the guys ready to go racing. I think they're going to kind of turn him loose and really get after these guys.
I tell you, though, he's on a bad place on the inside of Earnhardt. If Earnhardt will pull down tight on you and then go back down and go in the corner and make that car extremely loose.
The other quick car in this field is Ken Schrader. Schrader's just moved past Ernie Irvin. Trouble on Earnhardt's car.
Got real loose up in there.
That's what I was telling you. That looks like it might be in a hurry there.
Ken Schrader went past. Tries it again. Might have just got a little bit of the loose stuff there.
That's what happened. The car's pushing a lot, and when he got up in the marbles on the top part of the racetrack, then the front end took off.
Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, I asked Richard Childress the car if he was loose, and he said he is. He's having to run up high because he just simply can't turn the wheel. When he tries to turn the wheel, the back end of the car tries to get out from under him. It's a problem they're going to have to contend with. They're going to have to fix as soon as they get a chance. Because one problem that the guys were looking for today was tire wear. This is a green racetrack, not much practice, so therefore the tire wear is going to be critical early on. So he's got a problem they're going to have to take care of pretty soon. He's dropping back.
Update you a little on schedule adjustments. The Busch Grand National Race schedule to run concurrently with today's event has been rescheduled for November, Saturday of the Winston Cup weekend. And the race that TNN had hoped to bring you tomorrow from Martinsville, Virginia, the Busch Grand National Race, that has been postponed until May. TNN will be there in Martinsville when they run that event. 3 seconds behind the leader is this battle. Wallace, by the way, has been caught by Mark Martin. See Ricky Rudd, Terry Labonte coming up in the picture. Shepherd and Rudd. Top 10 spots. That's 8th position at stake. Right below the green car outside of the screen. The Baker State car is 6th.
We saw Morgan Shepherd move up there in the 4 car. He tried to challenge him for a while. Just fell back just a little bit. Now the 5 car is right in there trying to go around Shepherd. So if you just move just a little bit, the guys gain on his side.
Let's check down on pit road. Here's Randy.
Well, gentlemen, Harry Gant started 16th. Now, he's finished second here 3 times. Today, his luck not going so good. He's fallen back to 39th running order in the field. The guys were frantic right after that last caution. Here's the problem. He's got a carburetor problem. They're going to change it under caution.
Well, I'll tell you what, buddy, they might change it under caution, but they're going to need a long caution. It takes a while to change that carburetor on there. It'll just take them a lot of work to get that off and another one back on.
I guarantee you, I would hate to have a problem with the carburetor here because you're in the corner so much. You have to have a lot of torque and everything for a car to run well. You don't need a problem with carburation.
3 Chevrolets battling for the Ernie Irvin and the Kodak car. Terry Labonte, Kellogg's car.
We see these cars, a lot of the tracks we go to, we've talked about the guy on the inside really gets an edge. If you'll notice, the inside guy has to lift a little bit earlier getting down in that corner because if he drives in hard, he'll slide up and hit the other one. So you got to roll out a little bit earlier, getting in the bottom. That guy gets on around you.
We are 20 laps into the Motorcraft 500. There are the 2 leaders. Keeping close tabs on one another, Rusty Wallace and Mark Martin. Welcome back to the Motorcraft 500 live on the National Network. Mark Martin has taken the lead from Rusty Wallace, and Buddy Baker called it 2 laps before it happened. Let's show you how it went, Buddy.
Okay. The thing that Mark has right now is his car is handling extremely well, and he can run the lower part of the racetrack where Rusty had to go up, and he just went right on by. This car is flying.
Lead change at lap 24, and here's how it looks like now. Clear sailing ahead for Mark Martin. What every driver wants to see. Here's the onboard Ford Electronics telemetry in Mark Martin's car.
Let's watch the mile per hour here. We see 188. In qualifying, we saw 188 mile an hour. Then in qualifying, these guys reach 190, 193 miles an hour. That's big Daytona Talladega speeds. Look at the RPM down through here. We are going down the front straightaway, 183 miles an hour, 4.6, 88 again, about 8,000 RPM. These things are flying around this racetrack. From this thing with half-mile turns and quarter-mile straightaways, they're getting it done.
Let's ride along, give it a listen for a lap here. With the leader, Mark Martin.
You see him touch the brake there. That's a little unusual. That means the car must be pushing just a little bit. You only have to just touch the brake and make it turn.
It's pushing fast. Just barely taps the brake. That's what's unusual about this racetrack. If you'll notice, he touches the gas really on the straight line, excuse me, the brake, and gets to slow down, goes right back in the throttle before he ever gets in the corner all the way. Really work hard through these corners.
Wiggle of the wheel there.
You know what that might be? He's a left foot braker. He might just have his foot bouncing on there because it does not look like he's really using the brake now.
No, it feels good just to touch it, make sure it's still there. I've ridden a lot of times, it's not needed, but I always matched it, make sure I still had it if I needed it in a hurry.
He's gradually pulling away from Rusty Wallace. 800 questions coming in. What's the term pole position came from?
Boy, oh boy, I have no idea. I'm sure you know, though.
You're the only guy here old enough, I think, to know. I'm not. There was a Polish driver named Oscar Kowaleski that always claimed the pole position, but that was Can-Am racing.
Oscar who?
Never mind.
Oh, jeez.
At the Kentucky Derby, they paint the winner's colors up on top of a horse that's on a pole. I don't know. Greg Field will find that out for us. It is a horse racing term. Here's Rusty running in second. The early lead led from the pole.
Boy, look what a lead they have over third place. The 6 car and 2, Rusty Wallace has got a good lead. Jeff Gordon. That's Kenny Schrader right in behind Jeff Gordon. He's starting to try to run a higher line. He's getting it done up here, buddy.
And you'll see a black car coming in right in focus there. That's Earnhardt. He's making a run back up through there. What happens here is you have to start the car real loose to make it really work later on because the tendency is to get tighter as you go. Looks like Earnhardt's on the run now, too.
Jeff Gordon, who runs in third. And Schrader closing in. Schrader started 10th.
That's what's unique about this racetrack. It's about 70 feet wide, and you can use all of it. A lot of tracks we go to, you have 100 foot of racing service, and there's 10 of it usable. This racetrack, you can race all the way around.
Here's the deal. Greg Field and New. He's our historian. In horse racing, the rail along the inside of the track was also called the pole. So the horse that started closest to the rail had the pole position. Many early auto races ran on horse tracks. That's where the term came from.
I just want to make sure they don't ever call that question like that.
Right, they won't now. Phil Parsons was on pit road with the hood up. Had a couple of strong ones this season. New paint job on the Manheim car.
And a new guy, Waddell Wilson, moved over there to help them with running the team.
That's such a good driver. It gets closed back down. Now they're looking underneath the car. And they're pushing hard. Great short day. Boy, that's a bright paint job.
You see Morgan Shepherd here. These lead cars are pretty well settled in. They're all going. We're going to see a big change on this first caution. When we get the first normal pit stop, whenever it does come, we'll see some chassis adjustments made. These guys are just starting testing their cars.
That car is brighter than it looks on television. I promise you. A lot of day glow on the circuit this year. There's the Tide car, Ricky Rutt.
Yeah, that's not really good.
No. Do not adjust your set. Things really are this bright.
You see Ricky Rudd there. Ricky Rudd.
Lead change. Rusty Wallace back in front. Well, we see Ricky Rudd. Go ahead, buddy.
Ricky Rudd's making a tremendous run right now. He's moving up on the front group there. And as I was talking about that, we had a lead change. I don't know what happened to the 6 car. I don't know whether he decided he was running too hard or what. He seemed to be able to hang along.
It was real drastic, buddy. You know, going into the third turn, just all of a sudden, looked like he got out of the gas or something happened, and the 2 car drove right by him. I thought something happened to the 6 car.
There's Mark Martin as you ride along from the roof cam on the Valvoline car. And the Miller Pontiac of Rusty Wallace just ahead. Front straightaway here. Buddy told us early just how narrow it was.
Mike look here and see he's turning less RPM. That's about 100 less RPM and about 6 or 7 miles an hour different than we saw him before. This right here might tell us if he's got something wrong with the motor. We were seeing 8,200 with 188 miles an hour on this shot right here before. Let's see if he gets it up there. He's still a lot of miles per hour. It doesn't seem to be anything wrong. Maybe the car got a little loose or something, but he certainly fell back in a hurry.
We'll see. 35 laps down. Rusty Wallace the leader. Mark Martin in second. Kenny Schrader is third. Jeff Gordon is fourth. Dale Earnhardt in fifth.
I was talking about Ricky Rudd and all of a sudden
I believe he got sideways going corner. I saw him like this.
Ricky Gamp with bad power.
With a bad car.
He's going to go lap down. These guys are certain laps on cars.
Guys, we got 3 800 number questions about lug nuts. Where the lug nuts come from, how they're mounted on the wheels, stuff like that. Apparently, there's a lot of folks don't understand that.
Right after the first caution, we'll show them doing that. We'll show them putting them on.
Good. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Mike Joy with Neil Bonnet and Buddy Baker. 38 laps completed. TNN's live coverage of the Motorcraft 500. And it has been the Mark and Rusty show. Rusty Wallace, early going. Mark Martin went to the front. Rick Wilson in the STP Pontiac. Dave Marcus also a lap down. Phil Parsons has gone to the garage. He's lost an engine, as has Bob Schacht.
Rusty trying to get around with Wilson. Really tougher to do. You really have to pinch your car down.
And Martin closes back up on him.
I tell you, Mark Martin must have had something like his foot slipped off the accelerator or something, because he's running as well as anybody out there, and the car is handling perfect. It's just one of those deals that you have things happen on the racetrack every once in a while, and you just check up on them to check their problems.
Let's go back. We're going to go back, Neil, to the in-car camera and try to show you what happened when Mark Martin lost the lead. This is from Mark Martin's car here.
All right, here he is. This is coming up on the back straightaway. See him going down the middle of the back straightaway. Boy, that's what, you know, the reason I jumped up so much a while ago. It's almost like Mark just pulled over and let him by.
Rusty was up alongside him and 1 and 2 and made the pass. Here's the race for fourth. The Wood Brothers car, that's the simulation. Morgan Shepherd have won 11 races at Atlanta, but the last one of those, Neil Bonnet won in 1981.
Boy, was that fun.
Morgan Shepherd there in turn 3.
Almost like two different racetracks. There's a top up there if you want to track, and there's a bottom area to race in. If you can go, you can, no excuses. You might as well mash your gas and go.
This race is close again. All of the Rick Hendrick cars are in the top 6 positions. Schrader, Gordon, and Rudd.
Mike, I'll tell you what, one thing about the car is on a shared basis. Anything internally learned to one car is passed on. Make sure it's properly done. And if it's done properly, it should make each car better. They should spread that knowledge around, and it's just a matter if they do it or not. Pulling right back up on Earnhardt. Went around him on the outside. It looks like both of them are gaining on the 24 car of Jeff Bush now.
As they battle here for third place, Rusty Wallace is pulling away. There's still quite a distance on this group.
There for a while he was dropping back. Now he's on the run again. I don't know what's going on. These cars run like crazy for 10 or 12 laps and then drop back.
Again, they did not get a lot of practice here. There's John yesterday after a week's layoff, and the cars sat in the garage area. As they had already qualified, they were not allowed to leave from the speedway.
The guys that are going to get a lot of practice will be these pit crews when they come into the pits the first time. They're liable to put the air wrenches on those jack screws and make some chassis adjustments. We saw Schrader pass the 24. Now that there's Rick Mast dropping the inside, and now we see the 24 back in front.
It's Richard Jackson Ford, the solo ride of Rick Mast, who was on the pole here last November. Started deep in the field today.
Too early for a caution. I mean, for a pit stop, he must have a problem.
And he has to be disappointed because this morning he told me he felt really good about the car. He said in practice yesterday it's about the third or fourth fastest car here, and now they have problems this early. Up goes the hood.
See, even though they're working on the hood, see the guy putting the chassis adjustment in the right rear. He says, help me get this thing driving better if they get the motor problem sorted out. So that's just an indication of this, a lot of chassis adjustments.
One of our 800 calls, how do they time the speeds of the cars? They don't use radar, as you might expect. There's a highway patrolman standing just outside the booth to our right. NASCAR has stopwatches, and they time the cars on pit road with stopwatches between measured points to make sure they're obeying the speed limit.
You either obey or you go to the rear.
Yeah. There's Mark Martin running in second place. Let's go down to his pit. Glenn is with Jack Roush.
Well, Mikey appears to have closed the gap just a little bit again. You're looking at Jack Roush, who owns and engineers the car that Martin drives. He's keeping lap times. Let's ask Jack if there is a problem. Jack, when Mark was leading, he seemed to slow dramatically there all at once and let Rusty by. Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything just fine. The car's a little too loose to suit him, and when Rusty would get on him, it would make it bad loose. So he thought that they would lap more cars and it would go better if he just followed Rusty for a while. So they're working together.
Okay, a little early race strategy by Mark Martin.
Now, somebody explain this for 9 million people at home. Rusty takes the air off Mark's spoiler, and Mark's car doesn't work as well.
Right.
What?
What actually happens is the air flows of the car. When the car behind you gets up to it, it robs the air off the trunk of the car and moves it back over on your car. And it almost works from your spoiler, so it makes the back end of the car light when you're up under it. The air tries to lift like a snowplow underneath the car to lift it back up. Now when you're behind, of course, the air is on the front of your car and it tends to make it tighter, so that's what happens.
Well, that's why Mark Martin relinquished the lead to Rusty Wallace. Those two cars are still well ahead of the rest of the field, and here's the battle a little further back. This is for 5th place. Morgan Shepherd taking it. Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd right there. And Strickland's going to lap there. So has Greg Sachs and Harry Mellencamp, Jimmy Means, Joe Ruttman, Bobby Hamilton have each gone a lap down. So is Rick Wilson and Dave Marcus.
A lot of these cars that we see running at the top of the racetrack wouldn't necessarily want to be that high. They're just making adjustments with the steering wheel or the center advance because the car won't stay low, so they just have to chase it up the racetrack.
That's like Earnhardt, at the first race. I thought he was pushing, but when you have that handling problem, the first thing you do is find out where you can run on the racetrack. So when he went up high, he found out he didn't have to make that abrupt angle into the corner, and it made it drive a lot better to run around the outside.
Leaders working into traffic now. That's the Hurley limo car. Good to see Jimmy Means back behind the wheel. After that practice crash at Daytona, knocked about 100 weeks. We'll mention, I'm not seeing it right now, but we'll mention that Alan Kulwicki is sneaking up through the field. Started 29th, he's running 12th.
So is Ricky Rudd. He just on a steady move right on up. He's really good on slick track.
It's hard to sneak with a car moving like that. There's the stealth car right behind him. But Strickland goes way up the racetrack.
Yeah, he's just been going a lap down. He's having some trouble. He's off the pace. He's a lap down.
Every Winston Cup and Busch Grand National race so far this year has been won by a black car.
Get the spray bombs out if you want to win.
Maybe so. Laps complete. Rusty Wallace leading Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, and Ken Schrader. Last week here at Atlanta, instead of the race, it was the blizzard of 93. We asked Rusty Wallace how he spent the time in the blizzard.
No, I didn't have any delays in my problem. We did have a delay in that motorhome of mine on the way home. The throttle stuck wide open in rush hour traffic in Atlanta. And I thought we were going to kill everybody. We finally got her off the side of the road and got the key turned off. But you almost read about us wrecking a motorhome.
57 laps are complete, and pit stops are beginning as we speak. Rusty Wallace, the leader, has pulled the pit road. That will give Mark Martin back to the lead. Speed limit in effect at all the Winston Cup tracks. So they've got to be careful.
Mark Martin was putting a lot of pressure on Rusty right there before this happened. So Rusty's coming in, put some fuel on there. If you're running this good, you can't afford to run out of gas. So he's coming in early.
Earnhardt is also in, so is Joe Ruttman and Harry Gant. And a chassis change on Rusty's car.
Change. How many rounds that look like to you, Nate?
Till he got tired. I believe he turned wore his hand out. You'll see that at this racetrack. You can't be content, even though you're leading the race. You can't be content with that chassis. This track will change all day long. You got to chase it.
Wallace 18.7 seconds on our Keystone pit clock.
4 rounds or maybe 5 in the left rear of Earnhardt, so he's making on that chassis too. They're trying to tighten him up.
21.1 seconds on Earnhardt. Terry Labonte, Jimmy Spencer are on pit road. So is Michael Walker.
Gant had just ran out of fuel down the back straightaway just prior to this. I see another car going down the back straightaway coasting. So these guys might be pushing it a little too far. We'll see them all coming in.
Bobby Hamilton going slow. Jimmy Horton is in.
Gant ran out and coasted in. The other Rusty came in under power.
Wait a minute, didn't they put fuel in Harry's car in the pits? No, that was Rick Mast.
Let me tell you though, when you're having carburetor trouble, you'll use more fuel than if it's running like you should.
There's the Bojangles car, Derek Cope. Kyle Petty started deep in the field. We should explain why so many of those cars are still in. Many of the top drivers started way back. But first, let's go to Randy.
Well, Bill Elliott is pulled in. He's got a little bit of a crease along the left front tire. It's going to be a 4-tire stop. Mike Bean screw over the wall, already coming around on the left-hand side. They said the car was just a little bit loose prior to that stop. All these cars experience different problems so far. Some are loose, some are pushing. Bill is down and away.
Mark Martin and Jeff Gordon are in nose to tail.
And that was your first and second place cars after after Rusty pitted. You see him making a chassis adjustment on the 6 car. There they go in the right rear. See him cranking around the right rear of Jeff Gordon. All the cars, even though they're leading the race, they're not hesitating to change the chassis a little bit.
Clock running on Mark Martin, stopped 21.7. Gordon's was faster. He came in much later, came out right with him.
Boy, that might feel good. A new team being able to get out there, Mark Martin, and run along on pit stops like that.
We saw Rusty go by as they were coming out of the pit, so he's going to get a good lead on him.
Kenny Schrader takes over the lead. Kodiak Chevrolet of Rick Hendrick. Ricky Rudd is on pit road. Alan Kulwicki, Joe Ruttman, and Darrell Waltrip have stopped. And now Schrader comes in.
Yeah, you can't afford that. If you're a good running car here, you run out at the start-finish line at this racetrack, it takes forever to coast back around. So they're going to have to get in quick.
We'll finish pit stops, and then we'll update the field. Winston Cup champ Alan Kulwicki is in. They're finishing up the right side on Kulwicki's car as pit stops continue under green. Lap 62. Jeff Bodine had taken the lead and makes a 21.3-second pit stop by Bud Moore's crew. Bobby Labonte is on pit road. He had moved up to second place. And here's your new leader, Wally Dallenbach in the Keystone Ford is up front. He has yet to make a pit stop in the second Jack Roush Ford.
Stretching that mileage out. I tell you what, that's what's good for Jack Roush. He takes his 6 car, he brings it in early. He can use his 16 car, which is his other team car, to see how far he can possibly go. And during the course of the day, he can relate that back to the other car. So he can play with this car to see what that lead car can do mileage-wise.
Wally Dallenbach is leading his first ever Winston Cup race. It's not his first race, but it's the first time he has led.
Is that Wally or Dave?
Dave?
His neighbor, you know, takes it out for a spin.
Oh, I saw that commercial. I hope it's Wally. That's right. Former SCCA Trans Am champion. Great road racer. His dad, of course, longtime IndyCar racer. Kart director of competition. And here's Ted Musgrave moving right up, and goodbye.
He's waving his hand. I'm not so sure he might not have went too far in the field because he slowed down real bad for that second turn.
That will hand the lead back to Rusty Wallace. Just flash flashing by at the top of the screen momentarily. Dallenbach will be the last car lead lap to pit. Let's go down to Dale Earnhardt's pit as Earnhardt is now running in 8th position. Here's Glenn.
Well, Mike, after that major chassis adjustment, I wanted to find out just what they did. This is Andy Peaches of Cucci. Andy, a lot of wedge cranked into that car. Were you able to do anything for it?
Well, we took a lot of wedge out of it, actually. And we're putting it off turn 2, turn 4. We're trying to work on it right now, you know. We'll just try this adjustment and see. He's been having to run real hot just to try to take care of some of the push. You know, maybe we've helped him.
Okay, well, we were told earlier that he had a loose condition, but it turns out, Buddy Baker, you were right on the money.
I do that all the time, Glenn.
Here's Wallace. He's the new leader. He has a 2.1 second lead over Jeff Gordon, lapping past Jimmy Means. And Mark Martin is now gone toward second place, moving underneath Jeff Gordon.
We see the 6th car. He just passed the 24 the last lap around. These guys have swapped the lead back and forth about 3 times the last 5 laps.
You know what made that impressive is they got caught up in traffic a while ago, and of course Jeff Gordon being younger, he took a lot of chances and got a jump on the 6th car, but Mark just took his time, worked his way through the traffic. Now he just run him down and went right on by. I tell you, Mark Martin's going to be hard to handle in this race.
We've had a lot of questions about the snow out and what the teams can and can't do. When the race was snowed out, the cars were impounded, required to be kept here as they'd already been inspected after they'd been qualified. And then when the teams came back in, the garage area wasn't open until yesterday noon, but the teams could change anything they could change in the course of a normal Winston Cup practice day to get these cars ready to race today. And a lot of them did change engines because they had sat in these cars in the cold during the week and made chassis and other changes in response to what they learned during the practice session. So yesterday was just like any other day before a race here. It was just very short.
With a lot of work in a short amount of time.
Neil Bonnet spent yesterday in Texas qualifying Dale Earnhardt's car for the, what is it, Arco, Winston West, and everybody else come on and run race tomorrow.
64 about there trying to get it.
Yeah.
And you would have had the pole, I understand, it's your choice on tires. If whether you run new or used tires,
I'm not sure about that. Maybe I just didn't go fast enough.
His 8th Winston Cup win here today, carrying our onboard camera, as is Rusty Wallace and Jeff Bodine. Mike from Missouri called in, and yes, the drivers can refuse the in-car camera. Some teams don't like to have it, especially at certain racetracks where weight distribution is a real big factor. As to how those cars are chosen, it's a combination of editorial judgment by the network staff, and sometimes advertising considerations come into play. Companies that advertise on the telecast are often offered the first opportunity.
And if they keep winning races with that camera, we're getting more bids for it all the time. Seems like it's a lucky piece to have in the car lately.
Paul from Long Island called in and asked where the lug nuts come from when they change tires. You see them take a tire off, the lug nuts whiz away. It's worth recapping that for Paul and you other new NASCAR fans. Here's Randy.
I'll tell you guys, you talk about lug nuts. This is the lug nut can for the Jeff Bodine team. There's probably 300 lug nuts in this can. Now here's what they do. They get a bunch of lug nuts and they glue them onto the wheel. Right here, this is weather stripping. That's all it is. They put weather stripping on the hub of this tire. Now you ask, well, how do they get onto the wheel itself? What it is a tapered stud that's on the wheel. It's just like that. When they jam this wheel up onto the hub, these nuts will sit on the stud and they can drill them in. So they put a little weather stripping on there just to hold the lug nuts in place, just to tack them, and that's all they do.
Kind of like sophisticated rubber cement, just to tack them in place there.
And one thing they'll do is they'll do it right before the race. They don't want that weather stripping to actually set up. It's in a tacky position, so it actually strings off like spider web when they put it up on the wheel. So
what if you took somebody's cement can and swapped it for epoxy?
Oh man, that's some super glue. That's messing up a little bit.
Just a bit. Rusty Wallace is the race leader at 77 laps. There's Mark Martin, top of the screen, in second. Jeff Gordon is third. And an appropriate question called in. The last time a rookie won a Winston Cup race, Davey Allison did it twice. In 1987, he won 2 races that year in his rookie season. That's the last year. A lot of folks think it could happen sometime this year as well. He won Talladega and Dover. And where is he today? 19th place, well back.
I would say Rick Hendricks is probably enjoying this race because he's got 3 cars in the top 5. those odds are pretty good right now too, wouldn't you?
It's so hard to get a car to run up front of this thing. They have 3 of them up there. They're getting their homework done.
Wallace is the leader. There's Mark Martin. There's Jeff Gordon. As you check the interval going back. Ricky Rudd is now 4th, and Kenny Schrader 5th. So it's 3, 4, 5 for the race leader at this moment.
I'll tell you, the interval I was looking at, buddies, that 2 car is a 6er who kind of really laps in.
Mark just seems to be, you know, running as fast as he needs to. That's the whole idea in winning a 500-mile race. Run as slow as you can and win the race.
There we're riding in Mark's car, and that's Rusty Wallace right up there in front of you. And you see, this right here sitting on his talking his car. Come on, baby, let's go, let's go. You just trying to get that thing to inch on out there a little bit more.
The real neat part of that car, a while ago, he just decided to back off a little bit because he had a problem, because he knew he had enough car to run back up and take the lead. Now, that's a nice thing to have in a race.
79 laps are complete. There's Wallace. There is Mark Martin. And there's Buddy Parrott engineering Rusty Wallace's drive today. 82 laps. There's your race leader, Rusty Wallace, pulling up on a lapped car. Mark Martin is closing in just a bit. It was 19th place on the tail end of the lead lap. His car moving quite well before the pit stop. Not quite so well afterward. U.S. Air Jasper Engines Ford of Musgrave out of Wisconsin.
When we get into a situation like this, Mike, and a lot of long green running, these cars, as quick as they are at this racetrack, they're going to start backing some really good cars. And once they get down, it's going to be hard to get that back.
Well, let's look back, find your favorite driver. There's the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac of Rusty Wallace. He's our race leader. There's second place, the Valvoline Ford of Mark Martin. As they go off into turn number 1, pick up the third place car. There's Jeff Gordon in the DuPont Chevrolet, Rick Hendrick car. And his teammate is the next car back. That'll be Ricky Rudd in 4th place in the Tide Chevrolet. Jimmy Means' car is running in 33rd, 2 laps down. Darrell Waltrip is 1 lap down in 21st. There's Kenny Schrader, the 5th place car in the Kodiak Chevrolet. Behind Schrader, 6th place, Morgan Shepherd in the Citgo Ford of the Wood Brothers. Speed was in 22nd, back down. Speed from the car. The car behind him is Jimmy Spencer, who is also 1 lap back. Meineke Ford number 12. Behind the Purex car, Blake Speed. Next in line, Dave Marcus. The 71 car is 3 laps off the pace. And then there's Dick Trickle and Bobby Labonte. Is 1 lap down in 25th position in the Maxwell House Ford. Next back is Ernie Irvin in the Kodak Chevrolet. He is 7th. And right in the middle, rookie Riley Kenny Wallace. Wallace 1 lap back, 26th. Change for the lead.
Wow, he made that look easy, Neil.
Yeah, he ran it down from a long way back, and just as easy as he gave it lead away while ago, he was able to take it back. 6 cars. He was probably 3 seconds back no more than 10 laps ago. Checking out right now.
It seems to me that the 6 cars are really strong from the center of the corner to the straightaway. You know, it really accelerates well. There's always been a torque car here in Atlanta. They always run well here in Charlotte and Michigan.
Let's pick up our rundown once again, buddy. 8th, 9th, and 10th are right here. 8th place was Earnhardt. Now it's Bill Elliott, the Budweiser Ford. Now it's the Goodwrench Chevrolet of Earnhardt. They are 8th and 9th. Terry Labonte. And the Kellogg Chevrolet is 10th.
Watching Bill Elliott right here, he's always been able to come to Atlanta when he's down and out a little bit and really kind of salvage something, get back on top. They're off the pace a little bit this year. Bill needs a good run at his home track here to get back on top.
He's the 8th place car right now. That back is Bobby Hillen, who was 1 lap back in 27th. That's the Heilig Myers furniture car, that teal colored number 90. Brett Bodine moving up under him. He is the 12th place car, the Quaker State car. As the Bodine brother act, Jeff Bodine is right with him. Jeff is in 13th position. His brother Brett behind this car. Now it's Labonte moving up and underneath to challenge Earnhardt. 2 seconds State Ford, Jeff in the Motorcraft Ford. They're on the lead lap, battling with Earnhardt and with Terry Labonte. And Kyle Petty coming up into view. He's in 13th place. Favorite drivers running. Hardy's update.
Oh boy, I bet Earnhardt says, man, I'd love to be able to do what I need to do to this chassis under the yellow. This car is not handling very well at all.
And Labonte looks like he'll finally complete that pass.
He's been working and working. His car works good on the bottom of the track. He just can't quite get enough to where it pull over. He can never clear, but after he pull it over, he's got it.
Not this time.
Yeah, I'd have to say that the 3 cars are about the toughest car out there to get back. But he races every inch, no matter how bad or how good the car is. He gets it.
Yeah, we see both of these guys are trying. We'll take a look down here. So let's get out of his 14 car and see if we can help him get on by. They might be able to all work together and do it. Look at Labonte. Boy, he just about got him here, but here he comes back on the outside. Just about had enough room to move over.
This looks like here again to Rockingham.
Yeah, up there on that very top. The only problem with that, you flood with it up there. If you ever slip a little bit, you're in a lot of trouble going that high on the racetrack.
Jeff Gordon's car. There's a little sign in the right lower corner of the screen that's handwritten. It says call 1-800-BOBSLED. That's the project that Jeff's involved with in this new Bodine bobsled for the U.S. Olympic team. That number is not active right now, but it will be later this week. And they are looking for corporate sponsorship and donations to send the Olympic bobsled team to Lillehammer, Norway next winter with a winning sled. Again, it's 1-800-BOBSLED, and they'll have that number operative the middle of next week. For more information or to help support the team.
Did you say Littlehammer?
Lillehammer.
Oh, okay.
You've never raced there. It's okay.
Don't bet on it.
There's Jeff. He's been for a long time. The green car, now the red one, which is Jeff Bodine, went random on the outside. He looked like he might be able to run the others down. He followed his brother a while, and he couldn't pick up the pace enough, so he went on around him.
Okay, let's drift a little further back behind the Bodine brothers. Here's Kyle Petty, who's running in 13th position, just ahead of Dale Jarrett, Alan Kulwicki, Derek Cope, and Mike Waldrop, the last car in the lead lap. Davey Allison's just going a lap down. So let's check into Kyle's pit. Here's Randy.
So Kyle started 27th and he's up to 13th. You might not think that's too bad, but it is for these guys. They've got a little bit of a pushing problem. Buddy, you said a while ago about Mark Martin's car being able to go from the middle of the corner out. Well, that's exactly what these guys try to make these cars do, and that's where Kyle is hurting. The car will not run from the middle out. That's where this particular team likes to make up their time. Robin said the car's pushing. They're going to try, Robin Pemberton, the crew chief, they're going to try and put a little wedge in, maybe move a little air pressure around and see if they can get it. But they desperately want a caution, likewise for a lot of other teams.
Desperately in the Kyle is not all that far in front of race leader. Mark Martin and Rusty Wallace.
I'll tell you what, and Mark Martin is going around this racetrack and he can run high or low, and he's going to put a lot of good race cars down a lap. Normally, if they could work on it a little bit, they wouldn't go a lap down.
2.2 seconds is Mark Martin's lead over Rusty Wallace right now. With Jeff Gordon in third. Where's Rusty? It's kind of like, where's Waldo? Can you spot him in that?
Yeah, Rusty's in a traffic jam. He got caught in about 2 or 3 cars, and it cost him a lot of track time. He got caught behind 2 cars, and Mark was able to really get away from him.
Long way back to second place, and Jeff Gordon closing up. Second place car, Rusty Wallace. Riding with.
That's a Rusty's car.
Let's see if he's busy on the wheel like he was last week. It looked like he's handling pretty decent.
Sterling Marlin is going to lap down, and then Davey Allison next ahead.
Boy, I'll tell you, the first year, Davey couldn't keep up the pace. Then he goes and wins Richmond last week, and here they are a little bit off this week. You just think he got the handle on it, and it gets away from you every now and then. But they've got all day long. Maybe they get it sorted out.
On the other hand, this form of racing has gotten so close. The parity is such that you can be just a little bit off.
Yeah, it makes it look bad. You're really not off that much. Watching the strong run, like you're talking about, buddy, the middle of the corner out is where these cars make a strong run.
Well, Neil, you run here, and Mike sent you you start off the corner here, and the front end is pushing on these cars. You got your foot in the accelerator, and that looks like it's going to hit that wall. there's nothing to do but check up on the throttle a little bit so it will turn. So the car that's got to push here is actually more detrimental than one that's loose.
Well, there's Gordon. He's coming up trying to get around the outside of Allison. I'm not so sure that Gordon might not be a little bit quicker than the 2 car once he gets around Davey here.
There's one thing for sure, he's using up twice as much racetrack. I can tell you one thing, he's going to do it here again. I started saying Neil Bonner, but he ain't got that far along yet.
No. It's Mark Martin leading Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon. A couple of cars in danger of being a lap down. Derek Cope is now the last car in the lead lap in the Bojangles car. He is 16th. Alan Kowicki is 15th. Dale Jarrett is 14th, and Kyle Petty is 13th. We asked Kyle if the blizzard of '93 caused him any problems here at Atlanta last week.
Didn't cause me too many problems. I will tell you this. Richard Petty cannot drive in the snow. He might have won a bunch of races on the racetrack, but it's incredible. He took my breath 6 times before we got out of Atlanta Sunday.
Welcome back to the Motorcraft 500. Our thanks to the Family Channel for providing their blimp, piloted by Alan Burrows. Give you these shots of Atlanta Motor Speedway. Nice crowd on hand here. This battle goes on for second place, 4 seconds behind leader Mark Martin. Closed him right up on closer to Rusty Wallace.
We have a battle here. One guy uses the low side of the racetrack, and Jeff Gordon's running extremely high. And right now, it seems the higher side of the racetrack is a little bit faster.
He'll try to drive up on the outside of him. What he's got to do is got to get enough up beside him that Rusty has to give him that outside lane off this corner. Looks like this time he might have done it. See, he's actually made Rusty move over a car lane and put some momentum. Here he goes by right on the outside.
Well, look like it's handling pretty good down the straightaway.
Yeah, Hendrick's cars will do that.
Most of them do. So second place changes hands. And the rookie driver, Jeff Gordon, 21 years old. Don't let that statistic fool you. He's been driving and winning races since age 5. First climbed into one of those 1,000 horsepower sprint cars at age 14. Last year, set a record for poles on the Busch Grand National circuit. Now moves into Winston Cup. There's Rusty Wallace in third, right with him.
When they say he's won races, it wasn't just something that was small race here, small race there. He jumped on the big boys from the day he started racing, and it's really paid off. He's had quite an education. He's using it right now.
Front 3 in this race. Chevy for Jeff Gordon and Pontiac for Rusty Wallace. Those are the 3 makes of cars officially involved in Winston Cup racing. One Oldsmobile did start today's race, but Oldsmobile and Buick are out of this sport officially. Kowicki is in 15th position. He won the Winston Cup here last November, and today just again a little bit off on the second. He's going to go a lap down. Let's check with Randy.
Well, gentlemen, Alan Kowicki was the second to the last car to go through technical inspection this morning. He was driving the car up and down in the garage area, actually. They changed all the springs in that car, and they said it would be a crapshoot. The last car to go through inspection was Ricky Rudd. He's running pretty good, but Kowicki obviously did not make the changes he needs. Of course, he's in for a moment. He's putting a lot of pressure on him right now.
You know, you see Mark really having to work to get by the 7 car, and people say, why don't he just move over and let him go? Well, the reason he don't, nobody wants to get a lap down first off. But he's got to give it 100% no matter what. If you're lap down, that don't mean you're out of the race yet.
Just means it's a lot tougher to win it from a lap down. Trouble, turn 4. A lot of smoke.
Couldn't see what started it, but he did speed up there.
Man, that's terrible. You know, he's leading in the point standings, and this is really going to be a setback in your program to lead the national point standings.
He's not leading them anymore. The Interstate Batteries Chevrolet, Joe Gibbs, the owner, and Alan Kowicki made up his lap on the race back to the flag. He beat Mark Martin for the caution flag, and Alan is back on the lead lap. But for the point leader, Dale Jarrett, the day may be over. The left front of that car took a hard shot into the wall, and it looks from this angle hard to tell, but what the rear end might be pushed over to the right of it.
Same thing right there. It's just about the same place Davey Allison was leading in the points at the end of the season, and almost the same set of circumstances right against that wall.
There's no such thing as hitting the wall easy on Major Speedway. I don't care where you hit it, it'll usually knock the car out of the race.
Buddy, as you said, if something happens up in turn 4, that front straightaway is all too narrow. We are under caution 110 laps complete. Second caution flag of the day for Dale Jarrett's crash down the front straightaway. We'll be right back. Dale Jarrett's car is being removed by the wrecker here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And this is the first lap of Winston Cup competition all year that Jarrett has not completed. He's sitting in the car and he's okay.
Usually when a driver stays in there like that, he's just wanting to get that car back over there, let him see if they can get it straightened out well enough that he can get back in the race for the points. I tell you, he's probably pretty antsy right now. He's wanting to get that car on in the garage and let him work on it some.
Cars that are more than one lap down are pitting now. Let's have another look and see what happened coming out of turn number 4. Professor Baker.
Well, let's see. When I see him, that looks like smoke already, so it's hard to tell. He's backwards definitely up in the wall there. I see Harry Gant down below him there.
And look at Kulwicki on the right side of the screen coming. Woo. He wanted that lap back.
He did what he had to do, though.
That was a circumstance where Mark couldn't gamble, but Quickie could.
Different angle.
This was after he turned it around. It looked like he just looped the car coming up off the corner. Thing got out from under him a little bit, which is not hard to do up off that corner. Back down the wall. Luckily, when he crossed the traffic here, no one was coming.
Man, that's a bad thing. When you're going across there, you don't know how hard you're going to hit, but you know it's going to be hard with that driver's side.
Right, back to in here. Like Buddy said, you just don't hit easy on these big racetracks. Everybody said, boy, it don't look like he hit hard, but they need to be sitting in that thing. It's a pretty good jolt.
Saw those wheels locked up. Danny from Kentucky called in and said, why do all these wheels have black rims? Well, they don't. It's up to the teams what color to paint them. They used to chrome them, but you can't anymore. You're not allowed to.
Well, you couldn't keep weights on them. You'd put
Right.
weights on them, and when you got over 170 miles an hour, throw them through the top of the fender and all.
And in the grandstands.
Yeah.
People dodge your bullets.
Danny from Fort Hood, Texas, is going to that race tomorrow. He wants to know where you qualified, Dale's car.
Qualified 5th, I think. I should have ran a little bit faster.
We're under caution, second one of the day. From New Jersey. When was the last dirt race in Winston Cup racing? Rick Fielden tells us Raleigh, North Carolina, 1970. Richard Petty won it in a Plymouth owned by Don Robertson. Not a Petty Enterprises car. Harry Gant back on pit road. They'll attend to that carburetor. Jack Roush, who owns Mark Martin's car. We'll be right back. We're back at Atlanta. Harry Gant made an extended pit stop, didn't beat the pace car down pit road. Tough day for Gant. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett on pit road.
Well, Mike, to update on what happened on the pit stops there among the leaders, Rusty Wallace's car was getting pretty tight. Green racetrack, tires biting too good. Car just wouldn't turn in the corner. They made an adjustment, took some wedge out. On the other hand, leader Mark Martin's crew still trying to tighten his car up, still a little bit loose. Jeff Gordon, on the other hand, who's running second right now, had just a 4-tire change. He's perfect. Now let's go to Randy Perman.
Well, guys, I'm going to give Dale Jarrett a break. He's huffing and puffing a little bit down here. The crew is frantically working on this car. Buddy and Neil, you guys talked about the points that are so important here. They're stretching out the left front and also the left rear. They brought some trailing arms in. That's a big process to change those. He'll be back out, but it's going to be a long stay back here in the garage area.
Well, it's going to be frustrating. The leading points have that happen.
Have the flu and crash in the same day is not a lot of fun.
Harry Gant pitted a lap too early. He pitted with the lead lap cars. He was 1 lap down, so has to start at the tail end of the longest line. But no, Gant is coming back in. Repeat that carburetor, or finish that carburetor repair. He beats the pace car down pit road. And we're set to go back to green at lap 115. Mark Martin leads them down for the start. That's Derek Coleman on the side. And Ken Bojangles forward. A lap down. Gordon is the second place car. He beat Rusty Wallace out of the pits by only inches. Ricky Rudd is in 4th. Morgan Shepherd is 5th. Kenny Schrader 6th. Bill Elliott, Alan Kulwicki, and Terry Labonte.
Oh, look, there's Gordon went up there. Goodness gracious. Gordon was going around the outside and looked like the Coke car slid up and about carried him in the wall.
I couldn't believe that. He moved out of Gordon had another car.
You almost turned your chair over? Derek wasn't even close to you. Tense moment there. Gordon kept his right back up on Rusty Wallace for second place here.
Because Gordon driving deep down in the corner on the outside. You can hold the throttle down a little bit longer on the outside line.
And I believe, 2 laps. Rick Mast is back in the race after 39 minutes behind the wall. And being 3 laps behind.
Bill did a good job of holding Rusty off once he got under him when he had to go up high to avoid that car wall, though.
They have cleared the lap cars. 2 of them separate those front 3. All 3 are in the top 10.
Well, I tell you, Jeff just moved right on by Rusty, and now he's up in the line where he wants to be. He seems to have a place up there. That car really works well.
Looking through Rusty's car, we see the 24 car. We see the leader right out in front of him, so he's not so far away that they can't reel him in. 24 car might have the ability to do that.
You know, Neil, we're looking at this guy running along, but I don't think the average person realizes this guy is a rookie in this division. He's up here contending for a win in Atlanta. I mean, he's doing things that's never been done before.
Yeah, but I think he's technically a rookie. I don't really consider him. I mean, he's raced so much and he's shown the ability to do this. You almost overlook that.
Well, at least he can have his own rental car. He had to go ride out here. Couldn't get a rental car from the airport.
And couldn't drink the champagne in victory lane. Now he can. 4th place is the battle. Ricky Rudd and Morgan Shepherd, then the lap car Jimmy Spencer, and then right behind that also Ernie Irvin coming up on Kenny Schrader. There's Schrader top of the racetrack, the white car, and Ernie Irvin in Kodak yellow right behind. Spencer comes up in front of Schrader. That'll give Irvin a little edge. Well, Spencer comes right back down and gives Irvin this equal measure.
There goes Kenny on the outside on the top of there. Now they'll both move up there and try to get around 12 car.
There's Rudd and Shepherd once again. This is for 4th place. 5th. Here's 6th, 7th, and 8th. Add Jeff Bodine to that. The car makes a bit of go. And here we got Chevy, Ford, and Ford. There are also Pontiacs in this race. 1 Oldsmobile, no Buicks. And Chrysler Corporation. A lot of folks want to know when Chrysler's coming back. They've got their new LH sedans and their replace the Chrysler LeBaron and Dodge Daytona, and it will be the right size for NASCAR racing. It comes to the streets in 1994 and to the racetrack.
Well, I bet on that. I tell you, Chrysler's pretty serious about the racing. I tell you, when they go racing, they go racing.
There's 2 Chevrolets right now battling for 6th place. Ernie Irvin underneath Kenny Schrader.
We've seen this time and time again that they're on the top. Maybe pull back
Trouble,
out.
front straightaway. It is Joe Rutman.
Got a little fire in it.
Looks like fire out the exhaust pipes right now. That's coming out the tailpipes where it had dumped all that fuel. He cranked it, he just re-cranked it and put the fire out. That was actually the fire we were seeing was coming out the exhaust pipe for all fuel.
Joe Rutman making his 17th start at Atlanta. Front end is all bent on that car, but he will try to drive it around to pit road, or at least behind the wall. No, they won't steer.
Yeah, he's torn up so bad, sitting down completely down the chassis also, can't steer it.
Tell Dick Moroso that he looks okay. He's got a little damage on the bodywork here, but Dick was watching this today and he wanted to make sure he had the right channel and all, so I give him the right message in the pit area.
3rd caution of the day comes out at lap 123 for Joe Rutman. Mark Martin behind the pace car. Let's have a look at the way they're running as we go to caution. Ford, Chevy, Pontiac, Ford, Chevrolet in the front 5. 2 Chevys, a Ford, a Chevy, and a Pontiac fill out the top 10.
Kyle Petty's moved up a good little bit.
Yes, he
He's
has.
been correct and makes some good adjustments on that car.
Last time a Pontiac won this race was forever ago. I'll get it for you here in a minute. 1961, Bob Burdick was the last Pontiac win.
You know what's really nice is this 1 car in each accident. Usually on the front straightaway here, you have multi-car pileups, so everybody's doing a real good job of missing things today.
Pit stops, leaders coming in, and not all of them will. Mark Martin stays out. Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, Ricky Rudd, Kenny Schrader, Morgan Shepherd all stay out on the racetrack. Bernhardt, Kulwicki, Elliott, and Terry Labonte and Kyle Petty are pitting. Right rear adjustment.
those guys pretty busy when you just got a certain number can go wrong. You got one guy carrying a tire and making chassis adjustments at the same time. He's going 2 tires, refueling.
A lot of the teams getting 4.
It's 14-car Terry Labonte, 3-car Earnhardt moving in. Here's Elliott. He's through. He's going back out.
I think Elliott's running better than when he won here last year, so don't count him out. I tell you, that car's right up in there.
Caution is out here at lap 124. Mark Martin into the field, trying to be the second driver in a row to carry an in-car camper to victory lane on TNN. We'll see. Next time by, they'll be back to green. Here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Hut Strickland makes a late pit stop. Joe Ruttman, you see, has climbed out of the Finaloo machine. And let's have a look and see the aftermath of what happened here.
Got it sideways, evidently got that outside wall, similar to what we saw earlier. Here we go, all the way down across the track. Like Buddy said, you're lucky when if you clog that front straightaway, it's just hard not to get hit down through there. And they went to the outside of him.
And a lot of unburnt gas got down in those header pipes. And that was the bit of flame that you see there, that when he fired the motor up, that all extinguished.
Yeah, these things have 4-inch tailpipes out each side, and it sloshes over like that when you hit the wall. It just sloshes out the carburetor, causes a fire internally in the tailpipes. And we saw him re-crank and actually blow the fire out.
Getting ready to go back to green. 5 different leaders in this race. We've changed it back and forth 8 times. 3 cautions for 12 laps. 14 cars still on the lead lap. Mark Martin, the leader. Jeff Gordon in second, Rusty Wallace in third, Morgan Shepherd is fourth, fifth is Ricky Rudd, sixth Kenny Schrader, seventh Ernie Irvin, eighth Jeff Bodine, ninth is Brett Bodine, 10th is Alan Kulwicki, 11th Dale Earnhardt, 12th Kyle Petty, 13th is Bill Elliott, and 14th Terry Labonte. 1 lap down, alongside the leader Derek Cope, Mike Waldron, and Sterling Marlin, along with Jimmy Spencer. Martin gets away, smart.
Jeff Gordon just didn't get up to speed as quickly because Cope car was able to keep up on the get-go there, but then he's got to try that same maneuver to go around the 98. No problem doing it earlier.
Going the same way on the high side.
One thing about it, it's hard to block him because he uses it. Wow, it's that high.
There's Rusty. You're riding with Rusty Wallace.
Did you see how deep he got in that corner? Yeah, look like he picked that 6 car into Rusty going in the corner. I'm telling you, Jeff, it could have got himself.
Rusty sitting there saying, which one of you guys are going to go? He throws his hand up. See, Rusty signaled the guy behind him that you're side by side in front of me. I'm going to roll down the throttle. He's just wanting to let Morgan know that, hey, there's a lot of traffic right here. I'm kind of tiptoeing right now.
Morgan boxing right behind him. As they try to clear Sterling Marlin, the left car number 8 on the inside.
There we go, Rusty. You see him again. Tell him again. It needs to be a natural instinct. Every time you lift off the throttle, lift your hand.
Let me tell you, when you trust a guy like that on the interstate, you have to take some cars. When people put on the brakes and stuff and they have to slow down, you see the taillights come on. That hand up there is the same thing. When you get where you trust a guy, then you run with him a long time and not worry about it.
It means a lot more here than it does on the interstate, though. I wish people put their hand up out of the interstate. You might have some idea which way they're going.
Now, Rusty's followed these guys for 2 laps, side by side. Just a minute ago, we saw him take a look down the back straightaway and put it 3 wide. If they keep this up, he'll stick that thing down in that 3rd lane and try to get on by him.
This is for second place. Martin's checked out. And a good battle back here from 10th on back. Alan Kulwicki, Davey Allison a lap down with Ted Musgrave. Kyle Petty moving up. Kulwicki rather is 11th. There's Jeff Bodine, he's 10th. And Earnhardt 9th. Brett Bodine up to 8th. And Kenny Schrader 7th. Ernie Irvin is 6th at the head of that train.
There's Brett Bodine trying to get out under Michael Waltrip off the corner. Waltrip pulls him on the outside.
We'd like to say hello to Bobby Ryder back in Charlotte. Recovery, I tell you, she's battling hard and we're all pulling for you.
The riders on the 30 car, some of the nicest people in racing. Wish them the best.
Earnhardt under Brett Bodine there, but couldn't quite make it go off. Trying to get 8th place.
that move. Then we see Quickie right here. He got that lap back on though, and he's just Kevin right in the hand.
That's been a lucky job for the week so far. Jeff Bodine, this is from 10th.
Jumps in the gas roll. There he goes, coming around.
Oh, baby. We don't have to analyze that one. That was pretty obvious.
Well, now watch for oncoming traffic. Oh, that's what I was worried about. There comes some cars.
Dick Trickle. And everybody else will slow down and get through. Stop. The Wiki is still running. The back end of his car is badly caved in, but it is still moving.
But it's just moving to the garage. Jay Pitsan. And I had to do some work on it.
Yep. Here comes the leaders around, and facing the field is Dick Trickle. As they come by, now everybody's out of the throttle. Darren Cope tried to get a lap back. I don't believe he made it.
That was what we almost didn't need to instant replay on. We saw him get in the throttle to try to go by it, and the car slid to the track. They got together.
Well, once they touch, a lot of people don't understand on major speedway, when it's just casual contact, that upsets the air on these cars. And that thing, he actually started wrecking the minute they touched. It just took a little while for you to be able to see it. He was in trouble the minute they touched.
And Trickle was about 3 wide back there. As they tried to avoid Kulwicki, he just had no place to go.
You know, we was talking a while ago. I don't think I'm going to do any specials on tough part of a racetrack. This is the front straightaway here.
See the bump on the back of Trickle's car? I believe Wally Dallenbach and Trickle got together as they tried to avoid it. Let's look at again and see what happened.
We saw Kulwicki right here on the bottom. Watch him make this big run. He gets in the throttle. The car touched just a little bit, and the back end starts around. The only thing he can do now is turn the car to the right a little bit to correct it, but he can't because the 15's sitting there. So all he can do is hold it down, turn it around. Like Buddy said, the car was wrecked 100 yards back up the racetrack. It just took a while for it to come on around.
If it was over now, it would have been fine.
But here comes the 75 car, nowhere to go. Like you said, he's already out of control.
Man, that's a hard lick.
Here it is again from another angle.
Well, you see him right here. The car gets a little loose there, and they just touch right there. Well, he's in trouble there. You can see the car. It's already turned around. He's along for the ride now. The steering wheel's something to hold on to.
See if we can see what happens behind him as Kyle Petty gets past and Davey Allison.
Yeah, Davey Allison.
Now here comes the rest of that pack. Oh, yeah. Trickle.
Oh, yeah, they hit way back up here. Trickle had nothing to do with that wreck. He just was the victim.
He got turned around on the front end of Wally Dallenbach's car.
But everybody else back there checked up and did not make it worse than it was.
Here comes Jeff Martin, and he doesn't quite beat Mark Martin out of the race. Of course, they've got Kulwicki's car down there at the end of pit road as well. Very close to where his pit is, but I don't think he can get back to it. His crew is right there. Only about 50 feet from the car, but they can't much go to it because that's past the end of the pits. There's one of the toughest, hardest racing guys you'll ever meet, Dick Trickle.
He'll be looking for somewhere to race tonight. He races all the time.
Probably so. And there's Allen. Tough day.
I'll tell you, win the championship last year, and it hadn't been that great this year for him.
Now there's Kulwicki talking with his crew, having a seat on the pit wall. He's okay. Let's have another look at it from another angle. Top of the screen.
We can see Quickie sideways up in the middle of the track. He's going to back it up to the top. We see some of the other cars come under. There's Davey Allison coming through.
Look way to the right. There's Dallenbach into Dick Trickle.
Got Trickle turned sideways. Situation where Trickle lifted. He saw the wreck. Dallenbach was right behind him. Couldn't help it. Got up on the back of him. Look, coming down pit road. Somebody turned down pit road to avoid the accident.
And you know, folks, you see where Wally Dallenbach was. You see that on the highway too. You're up behind somebody, and sometimes you're close behind somebody. You don't see what's going on in front of them. That's one of the dangers of following too closely. Here you have to do it because you have to drive, but tough thing out on the highway. Paul Andrews, Alan Kulwicki's crew chief, talking with his driver and car owner. And Kyle Petty will lead a lap here after starting way deep in the field.
You think points doesn't mean a lot? You know, I'm sure they would like to put tires on that thing, but here's the opportunity to lead. And during the course of the season, this might be a big factor in where he finishes.
Sitting on pit road with the hood up is Terry Labonte. He is one of the cars that was on the lead lap, the Kellogg's car of Billy Hagan. And he has lost a lap on pit road as they continue to work underneath the hood.
So Hard to tell from this angle what they're doing.
They had a good run early in the early going here.
I see it's either a hose or an air wrench going around to that side of the car. It's hard to tell what. Put water in it.
Overheating. We're 136 laps into this race. Alan Kulwicki is okay, but apparently he is out of it for this afternoon. We'll be right back. Parking lot's full, and so's the grandstand here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and that shot from the Family Channel blimp, 132 feet long, holds up to 4 people, including their pilot Alan Burrows and our TNN cameras. So thanks to the Family Channel for bringing that along, give you these pictures today. Glenn Jarrett a moment ago caught up with Alan Kulwicki. Here's what Alan told our pit road reporter.
A very disheartened Alan Kulwicki is walking away from his car. He climbed out under his own power. Alan, tough break out there. What exactly happened?
I'm not really sure. Earnhardt and I rubbed on the front straightaway. I don't know if I cut a tire down or what. It just, I don't know. The thing just got loose and got away from me. I don't know.
Well, you got a really good break there. You made a great move to get that lap back and then had something like this to happen, but you're okay?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The car's pretty bad, unfortunately. I hope nobody got hurt there. Somebody ran in the back of me awful hard, and I just hope everybody's okay.
Well, we appreciate you taking time. Better luck next time.
Well, as we passed along earlier, and as Glenn informed Alan, Dick Trickle, the other driver involved, was okay. And Alan was talking there about something that happened the lap before he and Jeff Bodine got together down there in turn 3, and whether that was a contributor to the accident, we're not sure. Terry Labonte's car is backing up to the garage. Tough break for the former Winston Cup champ. He had a good run going.
We saw him pumping water in the car, trying to get it down. If you've got a motor problem, you don't need it that pressure in this racetrack, the speed you run. So best thing to do, take it and work on it.
Here are 2 of the 3 rookies in this race. In fact, here's all 3 of them. A lap down, Kenny Wallace and Bobby Labonte, and there's Jeff Gordon, who is up there in 2nd place right now.
We haven't been able to see that anybody keep up with a 6 car on the start. See if Gordon can get a better start here. We've got Kyle Petty leading, but he's on a little bit older tires. So 6 car and a 24 should be able to work on him pretty quick.
Green flag. Coming up out here. Turn 2.
Kyle, his guys want to lead a lap, get yourself up in contention in the front. And those fresh tires on the other leaders really show up.
Of course, now, with the comes out quickly. That's turned off real well for him.
Let me tell you, you need new tires here. That really hurts you on old tires. You can see them just dropping back.
Irvin way up high. Can't get past, can't clear Derek Cope.
A little bit earlier, just almost caught down downside. He's pushing it in that corner.
Richard Hardy's update, where all the drivers were running during that caution period about 5 laps ago.
Here's a 24 car. He's sitting up on the edge of that seat. This is the best restart he's had. This is the best time to get after the lead. As Gordon, he's able to stay with him a lot better than anyone we've seen all day. Since they got the boy, look like the 6 car got a little loose up on Gordon. He can get close enough. The 24 can get close enough. We've already heard Mark say, come over the get off of him like that. If he put enough heat on him, he might get to lead this race.
I don't think that line Jeff Gordon just took is in Professor Baker's school book for here at Atlanta.
It might be added in there, though. I tell you what, this kid really giving that thing a ride. The carrot's out there now. Who wants it the most is who's going to win this deal.
Let's see.
The car got to pushing on him to wiggle around. He wanted to lead that race. He drove it in so hard.
And Rusty took advantage.
But he's not through yet. I'm not sure that he won't be able to come on back up there with him. She wants to get clear of the 24 car.
Around here, you just say the kid. Everybody knows who you're talking about.
You might just start calling the racer.
You bet. Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Dick Trickle has just stepped out of the infield care center. Dick, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I hurt my feelings about all. I feel bad for the Carolina Battery people and all the people that worked on the car with Raymonds. You know, we just got the car working over that last yellow, and I just radioed in and said, hey, we could do some racing now. And we only made a few laps. We got collected up in a wreck. You know, I was going to miss the wreck, but I got hit from behind. That's racing. It happens quite often.
Yeah, he's definitely disappointed, folks.
And that set of dishes is now a do-it-yourself kit.
Look on the front of Rusty Wallace's car, the black car. They got a big piece of paper stuck in the grill. I've seen a couple cars overheat here.
Yeah, a lot of the noses on these cars, in anticipation of cold weather, were taped up pretty well. A lot of that tape came off in the first pit stop, but not all that grill work is completely open to allow an unobstructed flow of air. A piece of paper like that will definitely have an effect. Ricky Rudd in the Tide car battling those Morgan Shepherd for 7 points.
And Morgan is staying right in the second. As we go back and forth, the single car's right in it every time we turn around. So they're going to be someone to deal with before the day's over.
Mark Martin has just taken the lead in number of laps led, 67 to 65 for Rusty Wallace. Driver who leads the next lap gets 5 more points added on. And those are 2 drivers that will be in the chase for this championship.
Neil, did you win in the Wood Brothers car here? Yes. I did too. I just want to say it's probably the best driving car as far as the latest people I ever sit down in here at this racetrack. That thing just drove anywhere you wanted to go.
I'll tell you what I always like about it. When you get these big racetracks, you mash that gas pedal, it nail you back in that seat pretty good too. I think that's a lot of motor.
Yeah.
That's the Wood Brothers car. Number 21 right there. Ricky Rudd right with him. Go down. 5th, 6th, and 7th. 2 of Morgan Shepherd's 3 victories in this Cup racing have come here. But Neal won the last race here for the Wood Brothers in 1985. Their last one. Dale Jarrett at Michigan.
Yep.
2 years ago. Seems like that team does so well on the intermediate track. Charlotte, Michigan, Atlanta. 1.5 and 2 more racetracks. Pretty open and Brett Bodine here. This will be for 4th place.
I'll tell you who's been making some good adjustments is Brett Bodine's car. He's got it better and better as the day went along. He's never really been right at the very front, but right now he's been right.
I'd say it's the best race that he's had this year. Kenny Bernstein Breaker State team.
Well, he sat on the pole here last year, and he led the race a long time. I think you have tracks that you really like. He'll be right there.
One wants to cut in, and one wants to. Brett Bodine currently the 5th place car. 12 cars on the lead lap. Mark Martin in front. Rusty Wallace in 2nd. Then 3rd, Ernie Irvin 4th. The battle you're watching here. Brett Bodine 5th and Morgan Shepherd 6th. 7th is Ricky Rudd. 8th is Kyle Petty. 9th Dale Earnhardt. 10th is Jeff Bodine. 11th Kenny Schrader. And 12th is Bill Elliott, the last car on the lead lap.
Even with this group of cars we're watching right here, early in the race, some of these guys are out on the racetrack. They've had an opportunity to work on these cars some. Look how much lower they're running. They want to get the cars to where they can run a lower line around this racetrack. It's just simply a shorter distance around it. You see that all guys make the car get a little bit lower on the track. The only one that really seems content to get up there every now and then is that 24 car, Jeff Gordon, but he's got his car working up there.
I was going to tell you, though, he's even moved his line down now. And look at Morgan Shepherd. You talk about somebody on the move, he is coming right on up. I get to hear Eddie Woods do that famous right speech. He said, we brought you this far now, life and yours.
Yeah. Earnhardt and Jimmy Spencer are side by side. Dale is 9th. Spencer is 14th, 1 lap down. Meineke Mufflers and Allison. Once again, we invite your questions about how this race is progressing. Toll free, you can call in at 1-800-451-7331. Your questions will be faxed up to our broadcast booth, and we'll try to answer as many of them as they can. 1-800-451-7331. It's our toll-free number to help you become part of the telecast today.
There's Kenny Schrader right there. He was up in front of this group. That last caution looked like he might have got a little bit behind. Kenny's up. Now he won't hesitate to jump up and try that top line. See if he can get by these guys. You get a little log jam like this and stuff gets backed up. It really hurts you. They want to keep it wound up. So Kenny might try that top lane a little bit.
You know, we've had several questions about why they call this stock car racing. The GM cars, the Pontiacs, and the Chevys, you go into the showroom, you actually drive the front wheels here, it drives the back wheels. A lot of these cars have Ford chassis, a little different body work. Not a whole lot stock left in stock car racing.
Well, I'll tell you what, the bodies on the cars now are closer to the manufacturers than they've ever been. These new templates we have, and you still, in this type of racing, you have the Ford motors and the Fords and the Chevrolets and the Chevrolets. So the identity there is the brand of the body design and the motor, the power form, and that's basically where it comes from.
So David from Kansas, who called that in, we called it stock appearing car racing.
Well, actually, when this series started, they did run stock cars. That's what they run. Nobody's original motors, you name it. Now it's become a very specialized race car, and they still use the name stock car, but it's a long way from being stock car.
Still, you see your favorite driver win in a Ford, and you drive a Ford. Well, that's why these grandstands are full.
Yeah, they say, boy, we won this week.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I wouldn't want to stop 200 miles an hour.
No, thank you.
We got to create our own monster. We got them where they would go so fast we couldn't leave them stop.
I'll tell you what, you're talking about that. We're running 180 here now. And I remember when we had a $10,000 prize for the first guy that would run 180.
Here's two of those Fords battling right now. Morgan Shepherd is taking 5th place away from Brett Bodine. Brett slips back 1 notch to 6th. Nonetheless, he's having a good run here today. Let's check in with his pit. Here's Randy.
Connie Richardson, you guys have had some disappointment this season, but you got a nice solid run going here today.
Yeah, we have. We've had a few freak motor failures this year, and kind of got us behind in the points. And yesterday we had a water leak in the motor, if you can believe it, and didn't get any practice. So we've had to adjust all day and to get the car running, but we finally got it working pretty good and starting to pay off.
What else can you do to make it better?
I don't know. Right now it's kind of coming and going. It starts off a little tight, end up actually freeing up and getting a little loose by the end of the run. So we're kind of caught between a rock and a hard spot, but we'll come up with something.
Big battle here. Big pack of cars are showing. Oh, Jimmy Spencer.
Jimmy Urine. You talk about recovery.
There is not another man in this sport that can drive a car that far sideways and save it.
And nobody in America would like to be in there with him at that time.
That's the truth. You think he's breathing yet?
I don't know.
Now you see why for many years he won the national championship up there, why they call him Mr. Excitement.
Yeah, everything's so loose. Looked like he was either got tires or something so loose. The minute the 83 car got behind him, always turned it around again. It's about time to regroup.
I got to see that again because I still don't believe he's saved.
Oh, my goodness. Man, you talk about driving a race car, now that's driving.
I'm not sure who was driving though. We might have a little help
I'm
with that.
still amazed. I've never seen a car at that angle and still come back. I'll be honest with you.
Mr. Excitement.
Jimmy hadn't given up. He's still pedaling as hard as he can go.
I knew this had to happen, okay? Here's the question. You know it had to come from somebody in Florida. Did the snow hurt the surface of the racetrack?
It hurt my feet when I walked on it last week. I don't know about the racetrack.
No, John, I'm sorry. But I live up in Connecticut where it snows about every other day, and Gene Simmons paved my driveway about 9 years ago, and it's still there. So I don't think a little bit of snow over the racetrack. Nope, not a bit. Down to 10th place. On the high side, that's Dale Earnhardt, and on the bottom is Jeff Bodine, who knows a thing or two about snow, having grown up in Chemung, New York.
I wish y'all would keep your snow in Chemung and up in Connecticut. I still see that.
Can't tell you how much I missed being here last week.
Yeah.
I won't tell you.
You hear this?
You're riding with Jeff Bodine in his in his Ford.
I can use the bobsled going back to Birmingham.
I heard you had one.
It's close.
Yep.
Uh-oh, that's bad.
Boy, I'll tell you what, the speeds we're running at this racetrack now, these guys are cranking these motors pretty tough.
The bad part of this, you see nobody hurrying around the race car. They know it's pretty terminal when they work that slow on the car.
The guy not as hurried as a truck driver. He wants to get in and load the truck as quick as possible to beat this traffic jam on the way out.
Twice a winner here. Waltrip will not repeat today. Kenny Schrader running in 9th place. And that smoke's coming out from under the center of the car, and he's being black flagged.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming out right underneath into the oil pan or something. There's a straight shot from the front. I can almost see oil dropping down off the oil pan, hitting the headers. I'm not so sure you had to crack an oil pan or something like that. How could I make that call, seeing an oil pan under this car? I'm getting pretty brave. I'm getting pretty brave, guys.
It's not like the oil pan in your stock automobile. It's just a pan under the crankshaft. It's a dry sump pump that sends it to a tank located further back in the car, but something is amiss.
What are you going to do if I'm right on that guess?
Well, let's find out from Glenn.
Well, Mike, Ken Schrader has brought it in. Ken just pounded the steering wheel in frustration. A lot of smoke coming from under the hood. As you can see, they're just about to lift and have a little trouble with the hood pins. It is definitely an oil leak. It looks to be on the right side of the engine. The engine is still running on the car, but they still haven't located the oil leak. They can't see it coming out from underneath the right side, but they're going to have to do a little digging, a little searching to find out exactly what it is. Again, Schrader in total frustration, sitting there grimacing, just not happy about this at all. He was running pretty well. We'll see if we can find out exactly what it is and update it when we do.
Well, tell him what Neil said. He seen the oil pan pipe.
Let's go back up front. Mark Martin has led most of this race. He's led the most laps. And explain the bonus point situation. When you lead a lap in a Winston Cup race, you get 5 bonus points. If you take the lead again later, you don't get 5 more. Everybody who leads at least a lap gets 5 points, and then the driver who leads the most laps gets 5 bonus points. Kenny Schrader is behind the wall.
Yeah, they'll have to get it back there and get it up on jack stands and try to repair it. One reason Schrader was so upset is he just passed those 6 or 8 cars we saw behind earlier. He was really on the move.
That's his Busch car, and they just slapped those numbers on because he's had such success without the last couple of weeks. 2 straight wins.
This could be the end of the deal about black cars winning all the races.
It could, well, I may not have to paint my car after all.
You're right.
1.5 seconds, first to second place. Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Darrell, disappointment for you once again today. What happened?
Well, we broke the transmission to start with, and then the motor broke the camshaft in the motor. Car was real good. You know, we're running good. Just lost that gearbox, and that really hurt us because it was up under green. It caused us to go a lap down. And then the motor broke right there. I don't know. Some camshaft broke for some odd reason.
What about the competition out there? See anybody that can touch Mark or Gordon up front?
Well, I ran behind him there for a little while, and Mark looks awful strong. Looked like Rusty's pretty good for a little while, but he fades, and Mark looks like he's got it under control to me.
Darrell Waltrip has only had 1 finish in the top 15 this season. It's been a tough start for Darrell's team. Here is Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Ken Schrader is sitting in the car. Can't know exactly what it is yet.
They said something like valve cover stud, you know, a little 2-inch long, 4-inch stud, I guess broke up. Got a lot of room out of rock. But he's having fun.
Looked like the car was really working pretty well. Finally, it really got it worked out.
Yeah, we wouldn't be real good on new tires after about 20 laps. It just kept looking better, but not today.
Well, he's getting ready to try to get back out there. You can hear the frustration in his voice, though. These guys work real hard at this racetrack to get these cars dialed in about midway during the race, and then something like this happens. Tough break for Ken Schrader.
You know, this racing engine was designed in 1955, and since that time, hot rodders, drag racers, and oval racers have complained about the sealing of the valve cover. It does not provide a positive seal of the cylinder.
I think that was had to be called by Neil because I tell you the honest truth, when it runs out the valve cover.
Yeah, it was running inside the motor. I just made a slight miscall.
Top of the motor, bottom of the motor. Mark Martin leads. Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, Morgan Shepherd, and Ernie Irvin. 174 laps complete in the Motorcraft 500. We were just past halfway. Mike Joy with Neil Bonnet and Buddy Baker at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. TNN delighted to be able to be here to bring you live Saturday coverage. This race snowed out from 6 days ago. Mark Martin, the race leader. Rusty Wallace in second place. There you see them. And Rusty Wallace is closing back in. Here's Randy.
Guys, you talk about trading secrets in this sport, and they try not to let it happen. But here's one for the books. These teams and drivers now have motorhomes. Well, last night, Mark Martin and Rusty Wallace had their motorhome parked right next to each other here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. They were seen in heavy discussion about chassis setups, all kinds of springs and sway bars, all going down to air pressures. Now, who gave who what, we don't know, but they definitely figured something out right now.
Two drivers from out of the Midwest, from out of the ASA circuit. It's been surprising over the last 5 or 6 years how many drivers have come out of that circuit and had a great deal of success in Winston Cup racing. And there are 2 of them at the head of the field.
You know, he's closed that interval down and talking about working on the chassis. One thing you do is you work on the steering wheel. Rusty's really getting this car around the racetrack. He sees Mark up there. He's able to gain a little bit now. So now he's starting really pinching the car down, working the throttle hard. He was sitting back there right, and once he sees there's a chance to come up, then he's going to set up an agency and really work hard to close in. And you can bet Rusty's getting all he can get out of that right now.
It's pretty relaxed for averaging 175 miles an hour around here. Back at 6th place. He runs in front of the lines again. Shepard in the middle. Yeah, Ernie Irvin. Back at 6th place right now. The 8 car, Sterling Marlin, is 1 lap down in 12th place. The first of the cars, 1 lap behind. Talking about the makes of cars in this race, John from Indiana has the last win by an automobile not made by one of the big 3, Ford, GM, or Chrysler. Bobby Allison, 1975 MC Matador. Remember the Matador?
I do love that car. It was a lot of fun.
That's equivalent to going to England in a canoe.
Could well be. Roger Penske car. Rudd in a Chevy, Bodine, Brett Bodine in a Ford as they battle for 6th place. Paul from Missouri. What happened to all the racing tires that were snowed on? They're using them. You know, you don't take the tires off your street car when it snows, George. You use them. That's what we're doing here. They're very much like your street car tires. They're just thinner and the rubber softer.
Well, we just showed an interval just a second ago, Mike, of the leaders. Here's another interval, buddy, like you were talking about before, about this 21 car. The 21 is really closing in on the 24 right now, Jeff Gordon. So we've got the first and second place closed up, but also right now, this 24 is fixing to get a little bit of heat off the 21 car. Morgan's starting to reel him in.
Well, I tell you, we're going to race all the way back to 4th place now. It's really tight.
1.2 seconds. And as quick as Morgan's closing in, he should be up there dealing with the 24 of Jeff Gordon shortly.
There's a look at Gordon, the rookie driver, and Morgan Shepherd. Longtime veteran, used to run his own late model sports in the number straight action cars. Jack Beebe gave him a strong shot in Winston Cup racing. He's had several.
You know, I'm not sure how strong Jeff Gordon is. He looked in the mirror and seen the 21 car coming. He's running Rusty down in a hurry. He may have a little more car than you think he has.
Yeah, but still, look here. That was it just over 1.2, boy, 0.9. I'll tell you what I think's happening, buddy. I think both of them are rooting Rusty in. I think they both started racing, and they're both gaining on the leaders now.
Well, they are 3 seconds behind race leader Mark Martin.
I think Mark just have to look in the mirror and see him coming and say, just a little more distance here.
Bobby Labonte about to be overtaken by the race leader, the Bill Davis car. They made some big changes on that this week after a hugely disappointing run at Richmond. Expect much better things as they move into the tracks where Bobby's more familiar with. He just moved over, let Mark Martin go by.
No, that car took off pushing real bad. He's got a very hard push in the center of the corner in that car. Very dangerous to the line.
Martin leads. Wallace second, Gordon third, Shepherd fourth, and Ernie Irvin fifth. We've got a couple of call-ins that are kind of interesting things that we might not consider. One about are the drivers required by NASCAR to answer questions after the race, and why would anybody want the in-car camera? I think it's twofold. One, you carry that in-car camera, it's good exposure for you and for your sponsor. Same thing with answering questions after a race, and more importantly, helps you fans to better understand this sport, because very few folks sitting at home watching this race have played.
They have, but they got a few tickets.
Yeah. Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, I'm in Bobby Labonte's group. This is Bill Davis, who owns Bobby's Master High Sport. owning a race car is not always what it's cracked up to be. Bill takes an active part in the team. He serves as the jack man. But during the second caution flag when the guys came in, see this big bandage on it? It was a big knocker. I'm not going to touch it. And Bill said if I did, he'd hit me. But you got hit in the head. How did that happen?
I didn't hear you. It sure is hard to get on TV in this garage. You have to get we were just a routine stop, and Elton came around with the tires and bumped me in the head. It's okay. It doesn't hurt.
Had to go to the hospital to get a little work done, but...
oh, yeah, they just taped it up.
You're okay to go back to duty now?
Oh, yeah, sure.
But sometimes do you feel like that somebody might do that on purpose?
Yeah, I do. I really think he did. We're going to talk about that after that.
Okay, Bill Davis, back to duty.
You can't hurt a car owner hitting him in the head.
No, you got to hit him in the wallet. A little duct tape, he'll be good as new. And one of the nicest guys in this sport. Bill and Gail Davis both take a very active role in running that race team. Driver, freshman Bobby Labonte, former Busch champion. Harry Gant has spent some time behind the wheel. He is rather on pit road today. He is about to go 5 laps.
Yeah, he's got so many problems. He does not even contest it. When he comes up, he just gets out of the way.
Oh, good question. Is Bobby Hamilton, former Rookie of the Year and driver of the Country Time car, related to Pete Hamilton, who won the 70 Daytona 500? Hardy's update after 180 laps.
While they look this up, they will mention too that the 18 car is back on the racetrack. Bill just came out on the racetrack trying to get those points.
He is 76 laps behind. He's got to pile up those points. We'll keep track of Dale Jarrett the rest of the day. He comes back onto the racetrack in 38th position. We'll see where he ends up. Great job. Pass for 5th place, Ricky Rudd. Moving up past Bernie Irvin now. Seems the longer Rudd's car runs, the better it runs. One set of tires. Set up for the long haul. And up at 2nd place, Jeff Gordon is going for it.
Yep, Gordon is rolling in. I think what happened while ago, they put a little bit of heat on the Morgan, and he picked the pace up, ran Rusty down, and not only ran him down, but he's driving right around him.
Remember what Darrell Waltrip said? He said Rusty's good for a while on fresh tires, but then fades.
Jeff Gordon's good all the way through. He's running well. If anything, he's pulling down on Mark Martin now.
They are 3 seconds behind Martin, who's the race leader.
That's still around for now.
There's Shepard, top of the screen. He's marking his back. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
I think Morgan just kind of woke Jeff Gordon up a little bit. He got up there and started closing in, and all of a sudden Gordon makes the pace out. Runs down to 2nd place. Takes over 2nd, so maybe he'll do something with Martin.
Rusty working the bottom now,
But boy, the 24 car should make such a strong run on the outside of the track.
he almost was going outside the track.
I feel for Gordon for traveling the greatest distance today. He should win that, Jeff Gordon should.
He may be the one car that actually goes 500 miles today. NASCAR measures the track right about where Jeff Gordon is, 15 feet from the outside wall, all the way around. This track is 1.522 miles. Here's Glenn Jarrett in Jeff Gordon's pit.
Mike, this is Ray Evernham, Jeff Gordon's crew chief. And Ray, Jeff looks like after a long green flag run, the racetrack really comes to him.
Yeah, our car's set up on low fuel and old tires, and we hope that the race stays green, and our guys in the pits are doing a heck of a job keeping him in position, so there's a lot of people from DuPont here. We just want to get a good finish.
Well, you know, earlier on there was some talk about maybe holding Jeff back, letting him get a little experience, but he loves this place, so he's just giving him free rein today.
There's no such thing as holding Jeff Gordon back. He's pretty wide open all the time, but he drives with a lot of smart and a lot of experience. He's doing a real good job.
Mike Joint?
Glenn, we got a call from Virginia. Sammy in Virginia Beach wants Ray to tell us how much it costs to put that intricate paint job on that car.
Hey, we got a call in on our 900 number, Ray. A fan wants to know, how much does it cost for that paint job on that race car?
I guess you'd have to ask the people from DuPont about that, but it takes one man in a spray booth about 8 hours to put it on. I don't know what the cost is, but it takes a lot of man hours.
I bet he knows. He just doesn't want to tell us.
Folks, let me tell you, when you got a man who works on these cars for 8 hours, you're going to talk about a week's work. Everybody's on these guys to get the job done. specialists of whatever they do, fabricators, welders, or whatever. And these guys that paint these things, they're masterpieces when they come to. It's a shame sometimes to bring them to the track and look as nice as they do, and some old green driver rakes up down the side of it when you're not careful. Rake up down the side of this one, he's going pretty quick.
There are 5 different day glow colors on that car.
Boy, look at Mark Martin's car. He's going fast, but he's used up some racetrack.
And here's the race for the Morgan Shepherd has caught Rusty Wallace. Dale Earnhardt is on pit road under green.
Walker was pretty observant a while ago when he said it looked like the 2-car faded a little bit.
You see left side of the screen, they're still working on Kenny Schrader score underneath it.
They're not doing any chassis stuff as I can see the car, so
we had a call in, Neil. See the big gas can being held up by Danny Myers. The little orange can is an overflow can. When gas starts to come out of that, the tank is full. That was one of our 800 number questions. And now race leader Mark Martin will surrender the lead to Jeff Gordon as he comes down the pit lane. And Rusty Wallace is coming right in with him. Green flag stops at lap 195.
I got a feeling that they need tires worse than they need fuel right now. I think they're going back when the times really drop off, they go in the pits.
Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Mark Martin has brought the Valvoline Ford in. I asked Con or Jack Rust before he brought it in if they needed a chassis adjustment this time. He said, no, chassis is good. We just need tire. You're exactly right. 4-tire change, fuel, and he'll be down and away very shortly. Good pit stop for leader Mark Martin.
Martin away, Rusty Wallace away as well. Derek Cope is on pit road. Line coming in this lap. So green flag stops continue. Jeff Gordon in front. He will pit this time after leading a lap here. Morgan Shepherd goes past into the lead for the Wood Brothers.
Now we just saw Graham was talking to him about how good that pit crew has been doing, and I'm telling you, they've been matching Rusty Wallace stop for stop, and Rusty's team has been as good as anyone on the circuit this season. So this pit crew, if they can get him in and out good, he'll be right back up there with him. Well, let's put some pressure on these young guys.
Here's Glenn.
Well, Jeff Gordon recently DuPont Chevrolet in with that fancy paint job. Again, we're not expecting a chassis adjustment here because, as Ray said, they set this car up to run when it's just about ready for a pit stop. Worn tires and low fuel. Right side tires are off. We're over to the left side now. Getting the left side tires on a good pit stop for this young, relatively inexperienced crew. He's down and away. Boy, that's a good stop.
20.4 seconds for 4 tires and fuel under green. Strickland is in the pit lane. Ricky Ryan just made his stop. Big speed coming to pit road. First time that Morgan Shepherd has led a Winston Cup race since Dover Downs last May. They'll stay out another circuit with Jimmy Horton and Ted Musgrave making stops this time around. This will jumble the field. Ernie Irvin now the second place car, and Bill Elliott, the defending champion of this race, moves up to third on the board.
I tell you what, you get into a situation like this, here's the 21 staying out. If a caution would come out here, pick those other guys a lap down.
That's right. In the middle, kind of in the danger zone, in the middle of green flag pit stops. We'll sort out the field when we come back. 199 laps complete in Atlanta, Georgia. You're riding with Mark Martin, who is once again the race leader in the Motorcraft 500. Jack Roush Valvoline Ford. Rookies Kenny Wallace and Bobby Labonte did it this time around. Gary Gann is on pit road for 4 tires. Green flag stops continue. And Bill Elliott did make a pit stop. I believe he led. I believe he was in second place at that time. And Mark Martin but Elliott still on the lead lap here.
Mike, they're reporting a light sprinkle of rain up at turn 3 and 4, so this might change some strategy stuff. What's going on? There's a little bit of rain up there.
Yeah, don't appear to be any heavy cloud cover here in Atlanta, but the weather here is possible.
I'm going to tell you, any moisture on this racetrack is a bunch.
Please don't snow. All into don't snow yet. I know you get old.
Come the bobsled brothers, the Bodines. Jeff in the 15 car and Brett in 26. And they should be about 11 and 12 position. Let's check it out. Jeff is now posted 7th. During that green flag racing and the pit stop. Double check that was scored.
Well, he was running so good earlier, it's hard to see how he done it, but it just came at the wrong time.
Ray from Texas wants to know what NASCAR stands for. We never explain that. National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing. Hall of Fame mechanic Ray Vogt came up with that acronym when NASCAR was founded in 1949. Bill Elliott is still running on the lead lap here, having just made a pit stop. He is the 9th place car. A lot of concern about his car owner, Junior Johnson. Little adjustment, a little bit of surgery at the Duke Medical Center. Let's get an update from Glenn.
Well, I checked with crewman Shorty Edwards about Junior's condition, and he said that Junior was at home resting comfortably, watching the race on TNN today, and that he would be at Darlington next week. So all you fans been wondering about him, Junior will make his appearance next week, and we'll vote about it. He wouldn't miss that race.
Well, Junior, hurry back. Bill Elliott is 9th. Junior's other car, driven by Hut Strickland, is 3 laps down presently in 22nd position. Here's
I tell you, Bill didn't have trouble all season long motor-wise, and I just want to get a good, solid racing. I know he'd like to be up there leading this thing, but he just needs to get this thing under their belt and get back there, get their feet on the ground again.
defending champion of this race. Let's go back up front where leader Mark Martin was in race traffic. You see him trailing Michael Waltrip in the Pennzoil car, Bobby Labonte in the Maxwell House Ford, and Kyle Petty, who is right now the last car on the lead lap.
Aggressive around the outside of one, down the inside of the other, like they're parked.
Bernhardt is the next car ahead of Mark Martin. Up there in the distance. Dale is in 9th place.
Boy, Mark Martin's running. He's going to put it in.
208 laps complete. 328 make up the distance. The cars in the lead lap: Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, Morgan Shepherd, Ricky Rice, Bernie Irvin, Jeff Bodine, Bill Elliott, and Dale Earnhardt. There's Earnhardt just ahead of the leader.
Look how fast Mark's car is getting through the corner from the middle out, like Buddy said, over and over. I'm telling you, that thing is running.
Bill Elliott just in front of him.
Boy, the 6 is going to fix to get a windshield full of it. He'll be right on around it. He'll be chasing him.
8 cars in the lead lap.
Run even with the 3 cars. About halfway through it, it looks like he hits a afterburner right here. Watch him just pull away right here. Man, that's fun when you got a race car drives that way.
Yeah, the backs are throttle like that, and they got a little jump in them. Big racetrack like this, really good feeling.
Rusty Wallace, who is the 2nd place car here at 210 laps. Keep Martin on the left side of your screen. There's Rusty. Rusty in 2nd place in the big separating Rusty from 3rd place. There's Kyle Petty, Bobby Labonte, Wally Dallenbach, and then there's Jeff Gordon, the 3rd place car.
He stayed out about 3 laps longer than the other 2 leaders on those old tires, and they got a good bit of distance. We saw his pit stop was in there. He's lost some track position on those old tires.
And Elliott has gone a lap down. 7 cars on the lead lap. Mark Martin is rolling it down here in Atlanta as he leads Wallace and Gordon. We're back live at Atlanta Motor Speedway. These pictures from the Family Channel women. 8 leaders, 13 changes. Average speed 143 miles an hour. 7 cars are now on the lead lap. Only 6 cars are out of this race. Bob Schacht was out early. Here are the drivers who have led this race so far. Jeff Gordon had a tense moment a lap ago.
I was watching as he went down the 3rd and 4th turn, and the car just slid right up against the wall. He almost knocked the wall down. He got completely out of the black area he's in right there, and was right up in the gray. Just here comes the Sitco car. Gordon Shepherd reeled him in now. Gordon had trouble that time. I'm telling you, he just knocked the wall. I don't know if he's getting more cautious now. He's more game running.
What do you think, buddy?
Well, what did it looks like to me is he's just trying so hard to catch Rusty Wallace that he's just gone wild. You know, he's doing everything he can to go up to the front. And when you're 21 years old, you do things that, you know, look a little weird, but he's doing his job.
But here comes Shepard.
You better follow Shepard there, I think.
Earnhardt and Elliott are racing for position 9th and 10th.
Well, watch how high the 24 car goes right here. Watch him go down low, since I say it, but he's been going right up on the wall. Went in there a little slow. He probably followed Earnhardt. He had to get out of the gas a little bit, getting in the corner.
He can get out of it there.
He's been running right up on the wall. He's had some troubles. Look at this.
Elliott's still in the top 10. Earnhardt now 9th. And you're watching the 3rd and 4th place cars. They move past Dale Jarrett. Now Jarrett, we reported earlier, he came back on the racetrack 38th. He is now up to 34th position. All the laps you can.
You watch Morgan Shepard there. He's got his car dialed in pretty well, but he can't stay down all the way through going in, but he loses a little traction coming out of the corner.
Nancy from New York asked about Jeff Gordon's car. See that yellow tape on the bottom of the back bumper? That's the rookie stripe. You're required to wear that, and the question was for how long? All season long. So the experienced drivers know they're coming up on a rookie. I guess it looks a little different when the rookie passes them. You see that yellow bumper go by.
Yeah, that yellow kind of really gets in your eye there. A little bit of a nuisance.
This race is 5.5 seconds behind race leader Mark Martin.
Well, here these two guys come right in. Boy, Morgan slid right in front of him. He was coming up on this traffic, and there's going to be a little bit of a problem. Cleared it, got right in front of him.
Well, a lot of times the spotter on top of the grandstand up here says 21 cars really handling well. Let him by and let's see what he's doing to gain on you like he's doing. And he might be going to school a little bit right now.
There's really no protocol here, is there, for where the lap cars go? They don't drop down to the bottom. They don't necessarily go up to the top, do they?
But let me tell you what they tell you in driver's meet anytime. If you're caught on any part of the racetrack, don't go directly in. You hold your line and let the oncoming traffic pick the way, because he's already made his mind and he's going left or right. The problem is created when the guy in front starts jumping around left or right. You just hold your position, let the fast cars go around.
Morgan Shepard has opened up about 10 car length advantage over the Jeff.
I'll tell you what, right up in front of this, Morgan is climbing all over Rusty Wallace. We'll be on top of that just a second, but he's really going there. Like you said, Morgan moved out. He's a 6 car, doing what he's been doing all day, beating him in the ground.
It's like speed and Truex for around here. The first half of the race, Rusty Wallace was able to trade the lead back and forth with Mark, but nobody since. Lake Speed is only, he just went 2 laps down, but he's in 13th place. Questions about fire suits. If the NASCAR drivers use the same suits in the summer and
if you're smart, you use both all the time.
That's right, exactly.
It's not made for warmth, it's made to keep warmth out.
extreme warmth.
Look, here's Morgan Shepard. We talked about him getting around the 24 car and really moving up. Rusty Wallace is getting caught now. Rusty did fade a little bit earlier, but here comes Morgan. He's really been on the move. This is for second position.
Let's get out of the Wood Brothers pits of Morgan Shepard, the 21 car. Here's Glenn.
Well, this is Leonard Wood, and Leonard, you guys have really been working on this thing. The car's been good all day, but right now he's really fast.
Yeah, we just got to sit back and enjoy it. It's running that good. He's doing a great job.
Trouble on the 6 car, Glenn.
He's running good.
All right, we just had a report there is trouble on Mark Martin's car.
He is limping down the back straightaway.
Oh, man.
So the battle we were talking about earlier for a second is going to be the battle for the lead with Mark Martin going in like this. Boy, I tell you, that's something. Here we go, going inside with him and see if we can tell anything that's going on. I think what we're going to see is a big left-handed turn right here into the garage. No reason to look. She's expired.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you, on days when they're running like that, they'll blow up, and when you can't run a lick, they'll run for 2 weeks. Now this battle we were talking about before is the battle for the lead.
Don't they run fastest just before they run? reach for the can of spray paint after all, because the black car, one of them, is back out front. Rusty Wallace is leading Morgan Shepherd, Jeff Gordon, Ricky Rudd, and Ernie Irvin. Here's Randy Pepper in the garage.
Mark Martin, what a cruel sport. You definitely had them covered today.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. Maybe we're back in one of these things next week or something. I don't know. We're going to Darlington. Something broke in the bottom end of the motor. There's not anything you can really do about it. It happens to everybody throughout the year. Some teams more than others, and our stuff's usually bulletproof. I'm not too shook up about it. We're going to win a pile of races this year with this Valvoline car. The team is on track. She was awesome. It's one of them days.
The point leaders are having trouble today. Dale Jarrett came into this race with a point lead. Martin was third in the points, lost an engine. Here's the battle up front. And it's Morgan Shepherd up front, and here's Jeff Gordon going for second place on Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, Morgan got around him just a minute ago. The two cars really falling back right now, and that's for second place.
Yeah, he fell back, I mean, like 20 car lengths and just dropping to it. There's something, I don't know what it is. Maybe he's dropping back fast.
One of the few of the top 10 point men not to have trouble with. Alan Kowicki, sixth in the points, crash. Davey Allison, eighth in the points, 2 laps down. Strickland, tough day.
Well, one good thing about Big Gun car off the corner then, it was really snaked sideways, so the car is real loose, and there's not time for lift up. He's not there with that condition.
Keep running hard until the last time the race car.
Morgan Shepherd up front. This race is for second, Gordon and Wallace. Rudd is fourth, Irvin is fifth, Jeff Bodine is sixth, and Brett Bodine is seventh. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Trucks flooded a little bit down there Rusty Wallace's pit. Now they're all smiles. What happened? The car got extremely loose. Rusty wasn't sure whether somebody took the air off his spoiler or he hit something on the racetrack, but the car turned a little sideways. It's been getting looser and looser, so he just decided to back out and go off and make an adjustment. So no real problem. He's just taking it easy.
Thanks, Glenn. The one beneficiary of Mark Martin going to the garage was Brett Bodine. He had been lapped by Mark Martin, but he was between Mark and Morgan Shepherd, who is the new leader. So Brett Bodine is back on the lead lap in seventh place. Earnhardt is eighth, Kyle Petty is ninth, Elliott 10th, Marlin 11th, Mike Waltrip 12th, Spencer 13th, Darren Cope 14th, and Davey Allison 15th.
You see him coming in the straightaway. Looks like the 24 might be closed in a minute, but
Well, I guarantee you, Jeff Gordon understands the situation. He's seen the 6 car coasting. That left it up to these guys to battle it out. And I tell you what, I wouldn't want to pick him right now. I think we got 3 races. Get their stop and adjustments the right way on the last stop. That's who's going to win.
And there's 4 other cars in the lead lap. It's going to be tough to count out. Rudd and Irvin have both run well, though they're pitted well up pit road from the leaders on the Bodine roads. There's your leader, Morgan Shepherd. And there's the interval. Second place and then third.
there's so many things in that race was born at the end. We've seen Rusty Wallace every time there's a caution come out. He's the strongest guy for several laps. It just depends on when you get the cautions, if it's green flag stops, so many things enter into it.
You know, I won a race here one time, Neil. I brought a car down here just to beat you out of those goals that year, so I brought this super speedway car. I got a caution with about 15 laps to go, and my car was so much faster that I had enough built up time on everybody to win the race.
I wonder why you did that. Just don't get old race car now.
Shepherd getting past a pack of traffic that now Jeff Gordon's going to have to deal with. Greg Sachs in the 9 car, the Mellon car.
Exactly 1 second back. We'll see what happens here. One thing about the traffic, it's not going to bother Jeff Gordon too bad because he's running that high line. There's not a lot of people up there in his way.
Shepherd running the bottom of the racetrack. He's first to second.
The only thing that's in his way is that big old white slab of concrete over there. And he flirts with it quite a bit.
Rusty Wallace in third. Have a look at the intervals that come by this time. Shepard won here for Jack Beebe in a Buick in '86 and in Bud Moore's car in 1990.
Stretched down to 10th right there. But I mean, from lap to lap, it's hard to say. You just get that perfect lap in. But looks like Morgan pulled him a little bit there.
The only thing I've noticed in heavy traffic, it seems that Jeff Gordon gets through traffic a little faster than Morgan does. But when they have the full racetrack to work with, it looks like Morgan's better.
That last pack, Morgan caught him side by side, and Jeff had him single file. Let's get that interval again.
We'll see if we're just reading it one lap, and if it just fluctuates back and forth, if it's pretty consistent. Picked up at 3/10, so Morgan is definitely pulling out on him a little bit.
Morgan Shepard won his first Winston Cup race at Martinsville for Chris Stewart.
Number 5.
I'll tell you what, you just don't hear a whole lot about the Woods. They just keep plugging away with this race car, and they keep themselves in position when the right chance comes up, they're going to win races. And good to see them run like that. The sponsorship sort of sticks right with them. Good bunch of people.
You heard him say one thing, and he's going to sit back and enjoy it running that well for a change.
I tell you, Leonard's just one of a kind. I tell you, he works on that race car so hard, and he gets a lot of enjoyment out of it when it does run good.
Well, let's check in with the Willard Scott of TNN. Here's Randy Pemberton on the weather.
Man, I'm not, but I'm back in the NASCAR trailer, and it figures as soon as I go to take a look at the weather, what we have basically is a cloudy condition. It's rolling in over the speedway. We had a little report there were some raindrops a while ago, and what is possibly happening here is the rain may miss us, but they're speculating that it could be back here. We're taking a good look at it right now. That's the Atlanta Motor Speedway. There's a little bit of a hole right here, but this is what we're looking to get through this band right here and have it pass through. We can finish this race.
If you have any of that green goo on your screen, put up your umbrella. Shower activity.
Whitler usually has somebody that's 100 years old. What's wrong with Ray?
Morgan Shepard at 242 laps leads Jeff Gordon by a second and a half here at Atlanta. Rusty Wallace is third. Ricky Rudd, Ernie Irvin, the top 5. Here's the rest of your top 10. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Atlanta, where Morgan Shepard leads Jeff Gordon and Rusty Wallace, riding the Citgo Ford of the Wood brothers. Let's go back down to their pit. Here is Glenn Jarrett.
Well, I was talking to Leonard Wood earlier. This is his brother, Glenn Wood. Glenn, Morgan really runs well on this racetrack, doesn't he?
They run real well right now. It's not pushing or losing. If we had run a little longer trying to make it so we don't have to stop it one more time.
But do you think you're going to be able to do that with just one more stop? Hey, well, that's good strategy there. If they can make it with one more stop, that's awfully good mileage. They'll win this thing.
Great. That's bad news for the rest of the field. Glenn Wood was a winning modified driver back in the late 40s and early 50s, the formative days of NASCAR. And his brother turned their talents to car owning and building, and were one of NASCAR's most successful. Just ahead of him, Greg Saxon stopped for tires in the middle of the car and got his lap back. P.J. Jones, second-generation driver, his dad Parnelli, was to drive this car last Sunday, but this Saturday, the 12 hours of Super here. PJ is behind the wheel of Dan Gurney's Toyota today in Sebring, Florida. Those IMSA Camel GT cars will be here for the Toyota Grand Prix of Atlanta, April 16th through 18th here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Here's Shepard pulling up on Ted Musgrave.
Let's work some traffic right here. He's doing this. 24 car. We saw right at the top of that shot and gained on a little bit and work this traffic.
Yeah, and I think the 9 cars used up a few tires now. You see Morgan running down the racetrack.
Getting blue flag by Doyle Ford. That's the move over flag. It's blue with a yellow stripe. When a car on the lead lap is coming up on a car that is laps down, that flag is shown to kind of indicate to the driver.
It's not necessarily mandatory. It's a courtesy deal. If you miss it out, you're going to get it back. If you move out of the way, they'll get out of your way on a given day.
Wilson like speed, giving away the race leader. Now Kenny Williams in 16th place, about to go 3 laps down. He's had a pretty fair run here today. He and Bobby Labonte both kind of keeping close tabs on one another, while the other rookie was challenging.
You know, the key word comes just a second ago. people out there right now can say that. They've got some kind of little handling problem. And the cars are really sunset, people have the chassis right.
Yeah, sometimes you trap yourself. It'll push in and it'll loose off, or it's loose in, pushing the other way. When you get a car that you can adjust and get it pretty neutral, it'll go fast. You get one that's doing both of them, you're in trouble.
Jeff Gordon is on pit road, so is Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt.
This is going to be something interesting as this unfolds here. They're stopping early for tires. We saw in the past, if you stretch your tires a long way, they wear out and you lose some ground. We'll have to see what happens with this.
We got to see what Gunnar Jumper does now. This could be a problem for him if he doesn't stop.
Let's go to Glenn.
Rusty Wallace has brought the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac in. They're going to do 4 tires. I have an idea they're going to make a chassis adjustment on the car. They haven't done so yet, though. Just a 4 tire change. They're going to try to tighten the car up and stagger and hope that those fresh tires will do the trick. He's down and away. There was no chassis adjustment. He does beat Jeff Gordon out of the pits.
18-second stop for Wallace, 20.9 seconds for Jeff Gordon.
That shows up right there as a legal pits. Now here we're back in that old catch-22 deal with a 21. If he stays out there and we're flirting with that thing, the caution flag coming out, a lot of people may lose a lap now with the 2-car and the 24. If you're concerned with it, no caution comes out of this 21 pits.
I think you're right, Neil. It's a catch-21 deal.
Yep.
Second to play Tony. Vastly improved on that today. That's just about what it costs to have your corporate name all over one of these 190-mile-an-hour billboards. Estimates this year for sponsorship of a competitive Winston Cup team. Sponsor. And at least one sponsorship of $4 million. Big money, but it takes big money to research and develop and run a stable of race cars.
You just use up so much equipment, motor-wise and stuff. You just go through a lot of parts.
Ricky Rudd, Jimmy Horton on pit road. There's Rudd. He's had a good, strong day here today. He's the second-place car right now. Randy is in his pit.
Well, the Gary Dehart left through goes to work just like everybody else. Could be a 4-tire stop. Don't see any chassis adjustments so far. First can of gas is in. Left-hand side tires are now coming off. Of course, Walter Smith, the jackman, one of the best jackmen in the business. Tires are on the left front. Pretty good stop so far. He's done.
21.9 on the Keystone White clock for Ricky Rudd.
Just a little bit longer than the other guys. And football for a little second. So it counts up.
And Morgan Shepherd has been passed handily by the Earnhardt. Could Shepherd be out of gas? This stop so they can make it on just one more fuel stop.
No, it looks like the right front tire might be that or something.
The car really porpoised coming out of turn 4 the last time by. And then got real
right front tire flat. That's what's wrong.
Got a right front down on it. Boy, I tell you, get it going to run and look what happens.
Find your strategy, but you can't find the way. Now the tire doesn't go all the way flat to the rim because of the inner liner. The tire within a tire that they use on all the super speedways.
That's exactly what it is, another tire inside there.
Glenn Jarrett is there.
Okay, he has brought the car in for a pit stop, obviously, but Glenn Wood just told me that Morgan got the car into the wall with the right side, so there didn't seem to be any damage, but it must have knocked the tire down. He has brought it in. There doesn't seem to be any steering damage, but 4 tires going on. Really tough break leading the race. He did get into the wall.
You see how the right sidewall of that front tire just sticks out barely past the fender. The fender has to come in front of the tire. The sidewall is a little bit out there, and he might have just brushed it.
Well, it don't look like there was any contact with the wall. I don't see any marking the wall on the right side. He might have been, it looked like the right front flat.
So Shepherd is back out there, but he has made that pit stop much earlier than they had planned. He may or may not be able to go the distance.
And worse than that, a lot slower than they had planned. You had to go tire down.
As Musgrove is pitted and Ernie Irvin is second. Now Rusty Wallace is second, Jeff Gordon is third. They are the three cars among the leaders who have not yet pitted this time around. There's Wally Dolan back behind Irvin. He's in 22nd place. Rick Mast in the pits. And Rick Wilson coasting down the back straight.
We just saw him go past Rick Wilson down on the apron.
You see the grill on Ernie Irvin's car. We had a couple of questions on the 800 line about this. Looks a little different than the grills on some of the Chevrolets. I'm not sure if that's some of the tape. That grill, or maybe just a little.
That's a little bit of aluminum work. It can actually put aluminum reinforcement behind there to support it some. And he's just got a little bit thicker aluminum work than the rest of it shows up through the grill. And you'll notice most of these cars, they paint the grills black or they paint them blue, the color of the cars. And that grill is almost all the plastic's going to work.
Custom billet grills or something. Yeah, maybe not.
No, you spray them black, and then the sandblast right the paint off of it, and you see stuff you don't see at first. That's one of the things you see there.
And Irvin will pit. Rick Wilson getting tires. Davey Allison, tires and fuel. And now Ernie Irvin, who led this race a moment ago. First time today. 16th with the leader. Randy?
Ernie Irvin brought the Kodak Chevrolet to a stop. He's never won a race here in Atlanta so far, but I'll tell you what, this is a stop that they've got to get all the fuel in. It's going to be close as to whether they can go to this, and some guys might try it. They're over on the left-hand side. The Tony Glover-led crew got the left-hand side tires off. They're back on. This is a quick stop, guys.
21.3 for Ernie Irvin. 21.3 seconds. Bobby Hillin is in the pit lane. Alec Myers' car.
Second place.
Now that Irvin is pitted.
Boy, look at Gordon. He's going to try that top. He'll get up there and make that two car. Have to give him that line. He's going to get on in the corner a little bit harder. Look at the distance he puts on going in that corner.
Got an update from the Wood brothers that Morgan Shepherd, after looking at the tire in the car, did not make contact with the wall. The tire just Shepherd is now the third place car. We'll be right back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. You're watching Winston Cup Racing live on TNN. 269 of 328 laps complete here in Atlanta. You see that Jeff Gordon, the race leader, has just lapped Brett Bodine, the seventh place car. Bodine was the seventh and final car on the lead lap. Morgan Shepherd is running in the third position. We have a replay of what happened to Morgan, and watch the right front corner of the car as Professor Baker explains.
Well, he's coming through the corner here quite well, and notice the front spoiler here, the dark shot there. See it? That's when it got flat. He did a great job, and I'll tell you one thing, if he'd have taken the front pedal right in and got the inner line, and he would have got on the wall. Heads up thinking, and he avoided a lot of problems.
Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
That's true, Buddy. And Glenn Wood told me he thought that he had hit the wall. What happened was this tire on the bottom of this stack is the one that came off. As you can see, there is no air in the outer liner. The tire is cut all the way around on the inside of the tire, so evidently it must have been rubbing something. But as you said, Morgan did a great job in saving the car. Did not hit the wall. My apologies, Morgan, for telling that you did. When you did.
Quite usually when something like that happens, there's a place rubbed on the inside of the cut. The sway bars are closed, and that's probably not what causes the tire to go flat. The tire got low, and then the sidewalk gets real flexible, and then it leans over even more and rubs that sway bar. If they'd been rubbing it doing it early, probably rub that sway bar after they went low.
Morgan is 11.4 seconds behind race leader Jeff Gordon in the year. And that's a complicated championship. They count the best 15 finishes on the racetrack out of 30 races for each rookie. And then there are bonus points, subjective points awarded by a NASCAR panel based on how the drivers react with their other competitors, react with the media, and interact with them, and so forth. He is also, of course, working for his team as well. There's the interval, first to second, Gordon back to Wallace.
You remember a long time ago we were talking about Jeff Gordon running such a high line. Now he's changed. I think he knows this is his race to win or lose now, and he's got to be I think that running way up high, risky business, but now he has the
running here. Has just a couple of laps to go.
I can tell you, Jeff moved back up the top side. He might have been trying to bottom to see if it was faster. Go back to it. Because Rusty did pull down there a little bit. You see Rusty on the low line there. He's run that way all day, and he seems to be closing in on Jeff.
What was your biggest throw?
Living through the first year.
I started to say surviving, so we're thinking the same.
Not really.
I'm really.
Neil?
I guess just the opportunity to get up there and race against the guys that you said at home on TV, to finally be out there racing with them, look over on your right, on your left, and where they are. So I think just the excitement of being involved with this type of racing.
I got to remember to bring that slide in. It's when I shot at you at Richmond in 1975. Bobby Allison was hurt. You came in unheralded to drive his car. So when you asked questions, and you taped over the name on a driver's suit and it said Neil Who. The magic marker on duct tape.
Yeah, they kept saying, what's his name? Said Neil Bonner. I said, Neil Who? So we just lettered everything. Neil Who worked for a while.
Yeah, it did. Let's get an update on pit stop strategy this morning.
Well, Mike, I checked with the two leading cars, Jeff Gordon's crew and Rusty Wallace's crew. Wallace's crew said they definitely had another stop. It would be sometime between now and lap 310. You can bet they'll stretch it as far as they can. Gordon's crew also said that they would have to stop again, and they said they were going to go as far as they could and make sure that the other guy stops first. So playing a little cat and mouse game, but they definitely both have to make one more stop.
Boy, oh boy, Neil, I tell you what, that's playing chance the hard way there. I guarantee you I wouldn't want to be the first one to do it. First off, if the two-car stops, if the 24 better come in right away because you lose so much time on old tires.
I tell you what, we're going to get one of our pit guys to go down to the 21 crew and find out if that flat tire, they were planning on going for that they would not have to stop. We're going to have to see if that tire make them come in early, or did they get to their point they wanted to go to?
Randy has an update on some of the other drivers that are running these and if they can go the distance. Randy?
Went to the Ernie Irvin crew as well as the Ricky Rudd crew. Now the Ernie Irvin crew was punching the calculator and they smiled, then they had a little frown and then they smiled again. I said, can you go the distance? They said they can. Now whether or not they can or not, that remains to be seen. As far as the Rudd crew, I went up to Gary Gehart, the crew chief. I said, can you go the distance? He said, who can? He didn't even want to tell me whether they could or not, but he said, there's no way they can make it.
Okay. Ricky Rudd currently is the fourth place car behind Morgan Shepherd, ahead of Ernie Irvin. 49 laps to go. Jeff Gordon leads Rusty Wallace by that much. Just about a second. In case you're wondering, and a lot of you have asked, the highest a rookie has ever finished in the Winston Cup points, James Hilton in 1966 was second. David Pearson. We'll say hi to James. He's trying to put together a sponsor. Some more races this season.
He was in the chariot, though.
Not 1966. Used to be head Jerry's crew chief. Successful driving career. 280 laps complete. Rusty Wallace closing in a bit of race traffic here. Continue from right back. Welcome back to Atlanta, the Motorcraft 500. Mike Joy with Buddy Baker and Neil Bonnet. And the lead has closed right up. It happened from home. For 13 laps, Jeff Gordon had been trying to lap past Jimmy Spencer without success. They radioed into NASCAR, where you see the result, to say we need some help moving this golf car over. NASCAR said, well, you got to catch him first before we can move him over for you to pass him. And here's what happened.
Here they go. They're going down in the first turn. You see the 24 car pulling up behind the 12 with the yellow paint job. Spencer got a little loose. Watch the 24. Hits him right in the rear. Spencer's right up on the wall. Gets straightened out. The 2 car doesn't get by, but as we saw in that prior shot, that damage to the nose, that's what's going to be so critical.
Oh, there's a lot of drag on the nose of the car. You notice this mass stem part right here, and it's trying to go up under the hood, and it's causing lift and everything else in that car.
Now, it looks easy in slow motion. Let's show you this again in real time.
With the Gordon first turn. He drives up behind Spencer. Spencer gets loose.
Wow.
Really, it hits him a hard lick.
Spencer saved it again.
Yep. But it didn't seem to hurt it that bad. But like Buddy said, that little area on the front, they worked on these cars for like a 16th of an inch gap between the fenders, 16th of an inch gap between the hood. And that hood is raised up on the nose, and it's like a parachute. But it just doesn't seem to have hurt him that bad.
And remember, this is either the 3rd or 4th fastest fastest track on the circuit after Daytona, Talladega, and perhaps Michigan.
That'll help him later. But you notice that little red ring that shouldn't be hurting the car, and that's very lucky in his part. He could have cracked the whole nose on the car, and then he'd have real problems.
Morgan Shepherd also picked up 2 seconds on the leader. He is now 9 seconds behind. He's the third place car. See how just the little bit of sand is there. It's not really sand up on the racetrack, but dust, debris, a little bit of tires and stuff, what it does to the front spoiler of that car. All that expensive paint has been literally sandblasted, just abraded off.
That you just can't knock off of there. I mean, you might be saying a little away from you, but it's a type of paint that's like used on fighter airplanes and stuff. And it's hard to believe that it will blast it off. They're just like sandblasting.
Let's go back to Glenn Jarrett for an update on the third place car, Morgan Shepherd.
Well, Mike, I talked to Eddie Wood, another member of the Wood brothers there, the one we haven't talked to yet. He said that they needed 3 more laps to go before that tire cut down. If they had been able to go 3 more laps, they'd have been able to make it on only 1 pit stop. As it is, they also have to come in again. Also checked with Ray Evernham after that contact between Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Spencer. He said the car is A-OK. It did not cause any problems.
Well, I tell you, they dodged a bullet. When you smack somebody like that, you got hood pins up there. And when you smack into somebody, it can shear that hood pin, and then you definitely
Pole sitter Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon running 1-2 here. Jeff ran at this racetrack in Winston Cup car, finished 31st. He won his first Busch Grand National race of his career at this speedway, Fort Bill Davis. And he's trying to win his first Winston Cup race.
Well, I hope he don't give me a heart attack doing it.
We were concerned, didn't damage it, but since he's had that little bit of contact, he's pulled out on Rusty just about the same distance he had before. It scares you, so you get to worry about the coolant, how the car cools a little bit. There's so much dirt work that's just made specifically. The engineers at the factories will tell you what angle to put that sheet metal in there for downforce plus cooling and everything. When you start beating and banging on it, you lose a lot of effect for the cooling and everything.
The other thing you have to keep in back in mind, one on these type racetracks, a lot, he's run a lot of 500-mile event. He'll know what to do to that car on the last stop to make it as good as it possibly can be. So it's going to be a really tight race.
Tell you something that might enter into it, buddy. You talk about if they go to one last green flag stop, how many times all day long have we saw Rusty Wallace with that transmission deal get on the restarts? He's one of the strongest guys in the restarts. We've seen the 24 have a little bit of problem starting off, but you lose a second or two on pit road, and it's big on that racetrack.
It's a second place there. The oldest driver in today's field, Dave Marcus, age 52. Dick Triple is 51. Gordon is by far the youngest. He was 21 years old August 4th. The next youngest driver in the field, next 2 youngest, are Bobby Hiller and Bobby Labonte. They are both 28, 7 years older than the man who's leading this race.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, they say years and years of experience makes you better. If he hangs around for a while, he's going to be tough.
Well, he's stretching out really a little bit now.
The most prolific rookie to come on this circuit, I believe, since Tim Richmond.
No doubt about that. Those first, second place. Let's see where here comes. I tell you what, he's gaining on him. I mean, he's way back. That really cost him, but looks like he's closed it up a little bit.
And Shepherd is closing it up on the race leaders.
He's got about 30 laps to do it in.
Last time we checked, he was 9.5 seconds back of Jeff Gordon right now.
Neil, can you imagine what it's like to have a flat tire and not lose a lap, come in the pits and still have a chance to win the race? I mean, that's amazing.
I never had flat every night. I did hit the wall. That's what's amazing about it.
There's third, Shepherd. He is 8.8 seconds behind. Now looking for fourth place rookie, Ricky Rudd. We said rookie too many times today. That's a long way back to fourth place, but still in the chase. Caution flag would tighten all this up, change the direction of the race. Ricky Rudd in fourth, Ernie Irvin in fifth. The youngest driver
stunts. I'm not sure. Yeah. The first of the fastbacks.
It was. Hudson won in an Oldsmobile, and Fireball won his first race in an Oldsmobile, and Thomas in a Hudson. 32 laps to go. We'll be right back. Exclusive live coverage of the Motorcraft 500 on the Nashville Network is brought to you by Motorcraft. Quality parts for quality cars from Ford. Here's the situation. Jeff Gordon leads this race with 28 laps to go. He and Rusty Wallace, the second place car, Morgan Shepherd in third, and Ricky Rudd in fourth, all have to pit, and those stops have started. Wallace was the first to come onto pit road.
This might be a big strategy. He could not beat Gordon on those tires. I'm going to see if he's going to put some tires on this thing or just fuel. He might know he has to do something drastic like put tires on to beat him. Here they go.
Glenn is there.
He brings the Pontiac in, Mike. It looks like right now they're only going with 2 tires, right side tires and fuel. I don't believe they're going to do the left side, so that pretty well forces the hand of the 24 car. He is down and away, 2 tires and gasoline only.
12.8 seconds. You can bet that Jeff Gordon's team will have to watch on Rusty Wallace, and if he is lapping faster than their driver, then won't they almost have to bring the leader in?
Yeah, they've got to. We've seen in the past here, every time there's been a stop, and the fresh tires just drove away. They might make the 24 guys have to make a call real quick.
Jeff Gordon, the leader, 26 laps. I told you that Wallace, Shepherd, and Rudd will have to pit, but Randy Pemberton, what about Ernie Irvin, the 5th place car?
These guys have been pacing back and forth here between Rudd and the crew. They're going to go all the way, Mike. They've got nothing to lose. Now, Rusty may have just shut the door on him with that 2-tire stop. We're going to have to take a look, see where they are on the racetrack. Even if he goes all the way now, he may not be able to win. Rusty's coming on strong.
There's Ernie Irvin, 5th place. Showing in 4th right now, excuse me, now that Wallace has made his pit stop. He was 5th. Before Rusty pitted, he was now 4th.
There's 25 laps to go. If those tires are a big advantage and they see it, they're going to have to make a call, or Rusty will lead them alive at the end.
I'm like you, Neil. If I was the people in the 24 pits right now, I'd be thinking real hard on bringing him in right now, because they have the fastest car. They need to get in, get tires, and have to fight the advantage against Rusty.
It's not showing because of the differential in the racetrack. When it's going to show is when the 24 has to come in, unless he's just so strong he can race with him on these old tires.
Rusty Wallace is lapping at 32.05. Jeff Gordon's last lap, 32.57, half a second difference.
See, boy, these guys right here biting their fingernails and scratching their head. It's time. Somebody's going to have to make the call, and they might be able to do it this way. Keep running and running and pull it off, but looks like they're needing tires.
There's Jeff Gordon. Looking now for Morgan Shepherd. There's the Wood Brothers car, the Citgo Ford.
We just saw the 2 car go by, but he's actually, with that stop, he's down there. He's a lap down. So we've got this one going to shake out until the 24 stops with him.
Let's get that interval again this time. This will be from Gordon back to Morgan Shepherd.
Yeah, even though the 2 is in between them, he's a lap down.
Here's your leader, Gordon across the stripe. Wallace, because of that stop, is a lap down. Let him go by, and here's Morgan Shepherd.
He's been really close. I don't know if there's enough time on track to do it, but he's been really eating up.
Last lap, Rusty Wallace, 32.4. Jeff Gordon, 32.77. 35 hundredths. A lot of lead, but if he does have to stop for gas, the longer he waits, the more of that lead Rusty Wallace will eat up when Jeff Gordon comes back on the racetrack. Ray Evernham, his crew chief, has run a lot of races in a modified. And he worked for a long time as the shop crew chief for Jay Signori and the International Racing Champions. He knows a thing or two about race strategy, and he has really been a calming influence in this young driver's career in both the Busch Grand National car for Bill Davis and in the Winston Cup car. Calculated risk.
20 laps to go. I guarantee you one thing. it's nice to be up here and not have to make these decisions. I'm gonna tell you.
I tell you, I can't help but think with a 10 to go or something, if they're not getting fuel, they're going to have to get him in with 10 to go. Where if they are behind, he's sitting on fresh tires, and he's got 10 laps to make it up. They might be able to make a good call to go fuel only if they don't give up so much time. It's just going to be a big gamble right here. If they can lead their distance, and maybe this fuel only will win this up for us. There's going to be a lot of planning going on.
If Mark Martin were still out there, he would likely have lapped the field by now, but Martin went to the garage with engine failure at 25 after being the dominant car for much of the day. Shacked in the garage, Phil Parsons, Joe Ruttman crashed, Dick Trickle, Darrell Waltrip, engine trouble, Dave Lowell's in distance. Let's go to Jeff Gordon's pit. Here's Glenn.
Well, Neil Bonnet, you are exactly right in guessing that they might go with fuel only. I went over to the gas can, got Ray Everham's attention, pointed to it, and I said, fuel only. He shook his head perceptibly, but he did shake his head yes. Right now, fuel only in the car. I would not say when, but I would say it will be within the next 5 laps.
Last 3 laps on Rusty Wallace, 31-41, 31-43, 43. Jeff Gordon also very steady, but he is consistently 30 of a second, a third of a second slower each lap than Rusty Wallace. Dale Earnhardt pitting the Richard Childress Goodwrench Chevrolet in 10th place. Uncharacteristic 2 laps back.
Yeah, they don't need work on the chassis anymore. They know they've had it beat down today. They're just trying to finish it out and get a good finishing spot.
Trying to survive, I guess, now.
Jeff Gordon has lapped 5th place, Jeff Bodine. So only Gordon, Morgan Shepherd, Ricky Rudd, and Ernie Irvin are on the lead lap. But remember, when those 4 drivers pit, if they pit, that will bring Bodine and Rusty Wallace, who has already pitted, back up onto the lead lap. Got that hatchet you saw up above Jeff Gordon's pit to help him find his pit. They may have to just change that to a dollar sign. The hatchet may no longer be appropriate. I think so. 15 laps to go.
Boy, they're talking about they're going to make the field. You just can't run it out. I mean, you know, you got to stop. You got to make up a decision. Decide. I guess they're going to go fuel only.
You know, I've been in this spot when I was a young driver, and I'm going to tell you something. That guy right there, you hear about money and this and that. You know what he's interested in? Winning that race. Money being right. Big dog's running, and he's so happy. I tell you, it's exciting to be around. I really have a good time just interviewing him in the pits and stuff. He's an exciting young man, I tell you what.
He's in a race city, and his favorite pastime has been going to the mall to play video games. Ricky Rudd is in. 4th place car.
You think he's playing the biggest game of his life today? I'm telling you, getting it done.
It's on video, live on TNN.
We'll look at it a few times tonight.
I think so.
Say, boy, was that me?
This is Jeff Gordon's 5th career Winston Cup start.
Now, Neil, how much gas will he need to take on? 3 gallons?
We're fixing to find out. He's coming down pit road right now.
And that, I think, Buddy, is the key to Ray Evernham's strategy. The longer he leaves his driver out there, the less gas they have to take, the less time they have to spend in pit lane.
Back what we're going to do here, we're going to keep up with Rusty Wallace. Okay, we're watching at 24. Here's Rusty. He's going through the 2nd turn right now. We're going to see if we can keep up where Rusty's at. In the 24th, we can beat about Rusty's halfway down the back straightaway right now. Halfway on the back straightaway.
Oh, he's over the line.
No, man, no.
He's over the line.
Tell me that didn't happen.
Coasted in just a little too far, and it became a 9.5-second pit stop. Brett Bodine, Michael Waltrip also stopped. Here comes Wallace. Gordon struggling to get back up to speed in turn 2. Wallace is closing. 12 laps to go. When they get to turn 3, will Gordon have the speed to sustain his lead? Wallace flying.
Tires. He's not going to have the same kind of tires on. Even though he's got the lead, he's going to maintain the lead, but can the 2-car running down with those tires?
And how much gas did they actually get in the car? That's the other thing. Boy, we've got a cliffhanger here.
Shepard takes over the lead. Gordon gets back out ahead of Rusty Wallace, but coasting over the line in his pit had to hurt.
It's pretty evident that was the problem call to make. Yes. Because even with the problem, look at the big lead he's got with just 11 laps to go. If they hadn't had that problem, it'd been a same race.
They are the 4th and 5th place cars. This man leads. Morgan Shepard, who went for a cut tire, where would he be in relation to the field? He is the leader. Ernie Irvin is second, and Jeff Bodine is third.
I'll tell you what, not worry about it.
Bodine is in. Gas and go. One more team. Nodding his head. Yes, that's enough. Yes, go.
Well, I tell you, we're worried about those other 2 cars. The Woods right here might pull off the deal. These are guys with the 4 car that can get them out.
He has a 25-second lead. He could run out of gas at the white flag and maybe coast around the win.
That's tough. Need the white flag. Yeah, that's it. A lot of laps to go.
Talk about putting all your eggs in one basket. And with the pit road speed limit, you cannot come all the way down pit road at the speed limit, get gas and get out in 25 seconds. So the die is cast for them. They can't come in and win this race. 8 laps to go. The man with the answer, perhaps, to the $64,000 question. No, it's more than that. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
He's talking to Morgan Shepard right now. This is Eddie Wood. Eddie, we all want to know, can you make it?
You're not supposed to make it. We all, 4 cars will try it.
He also told me off camera that if the worst, if he doesn't make it, he'll probably wind up 5th. Not much worse off than he'll be if they make it.
Morgan Shepard. 7 laps to go. He'd have to go 69 laps on this tank of fuel to make it.
Well, I like that strategy. You don't do better. You're supposed to not make it. But that's in racing. You're supposed to do things you're not supposed to do.
That was never a question in my mind. I raced for those people as good Neil, and I knew they'd take a shot at it. I mean, these boys would rather gamble than do anything anyhow. So it's just...
Irvin is second.
What's wrong with Gordon?
He's hit the wall. We're told he has bounced off the wall.
Here he comes in.
He will pit.
Up, tried to pit.
No, he'll stay out with so few laps left. Let's have a look and see what happened to Jeff Gordon's car in replay. Left side of your screen.
He's been right up there on the wall. One thing that caused this is the 2 car been gaining and gaining and gaining. And Gordon's trying to do as best as he can driving things to keep that lead. And he just used up the track on the top up there and got up under it.
It's raining. Sprinkles are falling.
That's the reason they sent him back out. But I'm sure NASCAR was looking at the rain. They just sent 24 out. He was coming up the road and said, just keep riding. They might call this out.
Trying to keep this going for 5 more laps. Morgan Shepard, Ernie Irvin, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon is now 4th. 5th is Ricky Rudd. 6th is Jeff Bodine. 7th is Kyle Petty. Comeback he's had today from that way back starting spot. And then Brett Bodine, Bill Elliott, and Jimmy Spencer is 10th.
Morgan, I bet you right here that Morgan is rolling out of that throttle. He's nursing that gas pedal because he knows that a whole lot in that car.
You seen Jeff Gordon go a lap down just then. I mean, from hero to out of here. I mean, one little move on the racetrack. That's what we always tell.
He'll still be the top rookie of the day. There's Shepard going out of your picture, looking for Ernie Irvin, the 2nd place car. Still looking. Still.
I tell you what, if they can get this thing down to 1 to go, they can coast halfway around the back straightaway.
Oh yeah, once they pass this start finishing line, they'll knock her out of here and make it back.
And we've got rain hitting on the window of the booth here, so it's definitely got just a little sprinkle.
The sprinkles. 18 seconds is Morgan Shepard's lead with 2.5 laps to go.
We're going to be watching this thing. If he gets to shaking it around, they'll know he's getting low on fuel.
Lap and a half to go. On time as Shepard's visited victory lane.
I guarantee you he can hear everything in that car when it moves now. 1 to go.
Shepard. Last lap. In his pit, Glenn and Eddie were the younger Wood brothers.
Tell him, man. Tell him go on. He is talking around there. He looked at everybody.
I think they got the Energizer Bunny in that car. It's still going. It's still going. 105 miles on one tank of fuel. He has the lead to coast home from here. In turn 4 to the front straightaway. The winner, one of the biggest cliffhangers we've had in a long time, Morgan Shepard wins it for the Wood brothers.
Boy, oh boy. Good bunch of people until they work on that.
Ernie Irvin has the gas to go the distance and finish second.
Looks like he's almost running slow.
Margin of victory, 17.5 seconds. Rusty Wallace finishes third. Harry Gant is out of gas, coasting across the line. We'll be right back. It's over. At the Motorcraft 500, Morgan Shepard and Ernie Irvin outgassed the field to finish 1-2 ahead of Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, and Ricky Rudd. In victory lane, Glenn Jarrett.
Well, the jubilant crew is really giving Morgan a lot of congratulations and deserve. So I want to add my Morgan, great job there.
Oh, thank you, Glenn. I tell you, whenever the right front tire went flat coming off the fourth turn, I thought it was all over there. Our car was real good on the long run. Oh, man, the Sidco crew just performed like I don't know what today. Everything was just great.
What is it about Atlanta Raceway? You've had 4 victories now. 3 of them have come here.
Well, thank God for Atlanta. All I can say, we run good down here, and we're always in contention. And I just thank God it was a safe race today, and the Sidco Thunderbird come out on top.
All right, what about those last couple laps there when you guys were stretching that fuel mileage? Could you hear everything in that race car?
Well, the radios wasn't working too good, but they said something about saving fuel. And so when I got to the Quaker State car, I just kind of eased out of it and brought the car down a little lower in the corners, and I was just trying to save all the fuel I could.
Well, again, a great job, a great call by the crew, and wonderful day for Morgan Shepard, the Wood brothers, and the Sitco Ford Thunderbird.
First victory for Morgan since the fall of 1990. His 4th Winston Cup win, and he has won now for 4 different car owners, including, as Buddy and Neil have here at Atlanta, for the Wood brothers. Great day. We're going to talk to more of the drivers involved in this Motorcraft 500 when we come back. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Well, it took 6 days to get it in, but the folks saw a great one today. Rusty Wallace got out early from the pole, and Mark Martin dominated this race until the engine let go. Jeff Gordon gave everybody something to think about, but it was the masters of race strategy and fancy pit work, the Wood brothers, who end up in victory lane with their driver, Morgan Shepard. Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Eddie Wood standing by. The Miller Pit Crew Award of the race. Of course, it couldn't go to anyone else. You did a great job today.
Well, really, we was not supposed to make it. We figured when we come up about a half a gallon short, and then everybody began to come in, and just kind of made it easy for us then, because I just get back off, and before it was all, he just was backing off at the starting line. But it all worked out good. Everybody worked good. I'd like to thank Sidco, Larry and Fran Britton. Their anniversary is today. I'd like to say hi to y'all, my wife and kids. I want to thank Ford Motor Company, Sidco, Goodyear, GE, Winter Ford. God, I'm going to keep on it. Don't leave this thing. Just everybody that had anything to do with Tommy Turner built a good motor. Charlie Broomhouse did the body. I'd just like to thank everybody involved that just made this happen.
Eddie, it's amazing how hard you guys have to work in order to win a race these days. 3 weeks ago, we were at Rockingham. You bring a car in that wasn't handling. You change everything on the car. You come back, run well at Richmond, and absolutely fantastic here today.
Yeah, it's kind of the way racing is. It kind of turns around on you. But we did a lot of testing after Rockingham. We were kind of down after that. We took 3 cars to Darlington. In fact, this was one of the cars, and just shook it down. And then we went to Wilkesburg the next morning with the same 3 cars, and things just begin to fall together. Everything just when things start working, they work. When they don't, man, they don't. We've been around a long time, and it just this one is good. We needed this bad.
I'll tell you, this kid's been in victory lane a few times. He's obviously choked up. That shows you how much it means to win one of these Winston Cup races. Glenn Jarrett.
Okay, thanks, Randy. And a smiling Rusty Wallace has stepped up here. Not a bad day, all in all.
It was a real good day. I was real happy with it. I'll tell you. Talk about being confused, though.
I mean, the crew knew where they were at, but they weren't. I asked them not to say nothing to me at the end of the race. I was just driving. I took 2 tires in early, and I just caught Gordon right there at the end, and he slipped and got up in the fence. And when I passed him, I thought I was leading the race. And I come across that checker flag, I thought I won the race. I said, man, this is great, good feeling. I stayed real calm, and I looked over, and I seen the 21 crew jumping up and down. But I'd like to say thanks to TNN for picking up this race, because all the fans were able to see this thing today when ABC had to back out. But hey, this Miller Janium Draft Pontiac ran great today. We moved way up in the points, and it takes top 5 finishes to keep doing it. The team's hot. It's going to stay that way.
Well, guys have been really consistent. Other than that trouble you had at Daytona, this team has really come on strong.
Yeah, it's bang, bang, bang every week. You know, real consistent runs. And Buddy made a real smart call with 2 tires right there at the end, and I was real proud of him. And the crew did a wonderful job. We just got beat today, and we got a third place finish, and I was real happy with the way the car ran. We just got out gas mileage today.
Okay, good job, Rusty Wallace. Mike Joy?
Well, after Daytona, a first, a second, and a third. He is third in the Winston Cup points. Quick look at the top end of the order of finish. We'll be back with much more from Atlanta right after this. At Atlanta Motor Speedway, these pictures from the Family Channel blimp as the crowd begins to file out. Some of them a little stunned by what happened here in the closing laps as Morgan Shepherd goes to victory lane. Here's the order of finish. Shepherd the winner. Irvin, the 2 of them did not stop, did not make a final pit stop, and ended up 1-2. Rusty Wallace was 3rd. Jeff Gordon was 4th. Ricky Rudd, the 5th place finisher. Jeff Bodine was 6th. Kyle Petty, Brett Bodine, Bill Elliott, Jimmy Spencer hung on for a 10th place finish. Dale Earnhardt 11th, the point leader now. Sterling Marlin, Davey Allison, Michael Waltrip, and Kenny Wallace, the 2nd rookie to finish. Then Bobby Hillen, Derek Cope, Bobby Labonte, Harry Gant, and Ted Musgrave, the top 20. Hut Strickland, Jimmy Means, Greg Sachs, Rick Wilson, and Wally Dallenbach. Then Bobby Hamilton, Jimmy Horton, Lake Speed, Ken Schrader, and Rick Mast, 30th. Dale Jarrett, by coming back out, he gained 7 positions, and if he'd stayed in the garage, that's worth 21 points. Mark Martin, Terry Labonte, Dave Marcus, and Darrell Waltrip. In the garage at the end of the race, Alan Kulwicki, Dick Trickle, Joe Ruttman, Phil Parsons, and Bob Schacht. Glenn?
Okay, another guy who is pretty well satisfied with today's performance. In fact, I heard him say earlier he took a 5th place car and ran 2nd. Ernie Irvin.
Well, you know, I owe it all to the crew. You know, they obviously put a good car under me, and you know, the last practice yesterday, we were probably one of the worst cars on the racetrack, and Tony and myself and everybody there just sat down and just said, okay, what do we need to do to fix it? Took an educated guess, changed 3 springs, 3 shocks, and cut the front fenders up on it. Threw the green flag, and we were pretty good, and worked on it all day, and made a pretty good race car out of it.
Well, there were times that looked like your car was real strong, and then it would go away from it. That's the characteristic of this racetrack, though, isn't it, with these big wide turns?
Well, there's so much corner that the driver can make so much difference here. You know, I'll be trying a different line, and it's 3/10 slower, and it takes you 3 or 4 laps to figure it out. You know, they're reading your times. You're trying to figure out where you're losing it at. So, you know, it's a rhythm racetrack. You got to get your rhythm and try to keep it. And if you can do that, you can usually stay at a real consistent speed. Jeff was really doing a good job of running the consistent within a 1/10 of a second a lap, and that's what it takes to win, I think.
Well, the Kodak Films Chevrolet has certainly got their rhythm now. They've come on very consistent. Ernie Irvin's going to be a factor for this season. Now let's go to Randy, who's standing by with Jeff Gordon.
Jeff, a fantastic run for you. Disappointed a little bit or happy with where you finished?
Well, there's no way we can be disappointed with a 4th. Found ourselves leading the race and an opportunity to win, and I'm a little bit disappointed myself. We ran good all day long. Guys did a great job in the pits, and I came in for a stop and go there at the end. It was unfortunate we had to make a stop and go, and I slid past the pits. We had to slide the car back, got back out there. Then I hit the wall, so it was just one of those days where really everything went great, and then, you know, when the pressure got on there at the end, I guess I choked. But other than that, you know, just unbelievable day for us.
One other incident that you had up there in turns 3 and 4 with Jimmy Spencer trying to lap him.
Well, you know, I mean, Jimmy was racing the leader just like he should if he's a lap down or possibly going a lap down. And he was holding his own. He wasn't really holding me up. I was just running my own pace. But what happened was he moved up into my line, and the air from my car got him loose, and then I hit him. And, you know, it could have been a bad situation, and that's why you don't really like to run around lap cars. But, you know, I could find myself in the same situation.
Explain to us about the line you were running out there. Did you want to go there, or was that where the car had to go?
Yeah, the car wanted to go there. When we got new tires, the car was pretty loose, and I would run right around the bottom, and the car felt great. As the tires went away, my line kept moving up and up, and really I had a good pace going, and I could really get comfortable with the car in that high line. They would beat me through the middle of the corner, but I'd kill them from the middle off. So, you know, it was an interesting day. We learned a lot, and I'm really happy with the 4.
Okay, nice job. You moved from 10th to 5th in the points.
And it's his best career Winston Cup finish. Jeff Gordon, who almost won it all here today at Atlanta. We'll have a lot more from Atlanta Motor Speedway coming at you. No snow, but we'll be right back. Welcome back to TNN's live coverage of the Motorcraft 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm Mike Joy with Neil Bonnet and Buddy Baker. Randy Pemberton and Glenn Jarrett will have more folks to talk to. Let's review the Winston Cup points as they now stand. Dale Earnhardt moves up into the point lead. He finished 11th today. He has 19 points on Jeff Bodine, who finished 6th. Rusty Wallace moves up to 3rd. Dale Jarrett drops to 4th. Jeff Gordon moves up 5 spots to 5th. Mark Martin is 6th. Ernie Irvin is 7th, 92 points out. Davey Allison 8th. Morgan Shepherd moves up to 9th, and Hut Strickland drops to 10th. Jimmy Spencer climbs to 11th. Ted Musgrave 12th. Ricky Rudd to 13th. Alan Kulwicki slides to 14th, and Kyle Petty is 15th. 16th is Kenny Schrader. 17th, Harry Gant. Terry Labonte, Sterling Marlin, and Brett Bodine are the top 20 in the Winston Cup standings. We got more folks to talk to here in Atlanta, but our next telecast of NASCAR racing on the Nashville Network, the Mountain Dew 400, Saturday, April 10th, live 4 p.m. from Hickory, North Carolina, on the network that brings you twice as much live Busch racing as anybody else, TNN. Tomorrow, we were scheduled to bring you the Miller Genuine Draft 500 at Martinsville, Virginia. That race has been postponed due to the snow and rain and condition of the parking areas there. It has been rescheduled to Saturday, May 8th. TNN will be there live at Martinsville Saturday, May 8th, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, here on TNN. And the next Winston Cup race you'll see on TNN is the Winston, NASCAR's all-star night of racing. Saturday night, May 22nd, 7:30 Eastern Time. Live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway right here on TNN. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, standing by with Kyle Petty. Kyle, a 7th place finish, and it's moved you up to 15th in the point standings. You got things finally turning around, headed in the right direction.
Yeah, it's, you know, this is what amazes me, is to run like we run today, and you get a decent finish, and you go to places like Rockingham and Daytona, run really good and have terrible finishes. But we needed this one. You know, we come out here. I don't think it's been a long time since I've seen that many bad driving race cars on a racetrack. And there was trash all over the racetrack all day long. You had to dodge pieces that were falling off cars all day. So it was an exciting day out there.
Well, we saw a lot of close scrapes. A lot of people brushed the wall and so forth. You have any close calls?
My close call was when they dropped the green flag and they started this thing for about 320-some laps. I think I had a close call every lap. It was that kind of day for me. People would catch me and I'd just pull over and let them go. It was just one of those deals where I couldn't race with anybody. I just had to keep running and just run our pace. And, you know, it worked out for us today. It doesn't always work out.
That's pretty frustrating, though, not to be able to race when that's what you're out there for, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. You know, you come to race, you know, and you get in a situation where if anybody gets close to you, your car jumps out from under you or the pusher's real bad, and you just say, hey, you know, I don't need this today. I don't need to be driving this hard. So, you know, you just kind of find a pace and settle in, and we run like 3280s, 3290s, 33 flats right along in there. And it just kept us, we got lapped a couple of times, but, you know, if I'd have really run it, I'd have been down to running 34 flats and stuff by the time I run the tires off of it.
Okay, Kyle, thanks. Now let's go back to Randy.
You talk about close calls. Here's Jeff Bodine. He's had more than a close call. He actually didn't feel too good about lap 100, did you?
I'm still burping. I guess I had the flu last week. I guess it went from my head to my stomach. Hi, Kathy, Matt Berry. I love you guys. I need you, Kathy. I'm sick. Need help.
What about your car? Yesterday, you didn't get much time in practice. You blew an engine. You got about, what, maybe 15 minutes on the racetrack. So tell us how the scenario played out today for this race.
We started out, we were ready to make some adjustments. We didn't know if the car was going to be right or not. That's why we pitted early. Thank goodness for that quick yellow. The car was pretty bad. We stiffened the right rear spring up, and boy, it took off, ran pretty good. We adjusted all day long and really never had it perfect, but it was pretty darn good. And, you know, we started way back, and me being sick, probably holding the thing back a little bit. That was a good run for us.
Okay, congratulations. Nice job. Mike Joy?
You know, a lot of folks sitting at home might want to take a few laps around Atlanta or Rockingham at the Buck Baker Driving School. Professor, where do they call or write for more information?
Well, they can call The Buck Baker Driving School. It's listed there in Charlotte. I don't have the number with me.
Oops.
Of course. Now I'll get 3 demerits and a kick.
But it's listed. Charlotte, North Carolina, area 704. Call information for the Buck Baker Driving School at Atlanta and at Rockingham. We'll be right back with more from the Atlanta Motor Speedway right after we pause for these messages on TNN. Well, the man they call Mr. Excitement gave us a couple of heart stoppages here today, but Jimmy Spencer was rewarded with a 10th place finish. Let's get his thoughts.
Well, Jimmy, Mike's talking about a couple of heart-stopping incidents there. This might have been the hardest working guy out there. What happened a couple of times when that thing absolutely was spun out, but yet you saved it?
Well, I'm going to congratulate Morgan. He drove a good race, but he didn't drive any harder than I did. I don't know, Glenn. You know, we just got up there and got underneath Dale and lost a little air, and my God, I don't know what saved me, but I think the Lord did. Then I made a mistake up there when the leaders pulled up in front of them with lap traffic, and Jeff Gordon bumped me. Didn't mean to do that to him. At least he didn't get in an accident, neither did I. But you know, the Meineke car ran real well today. We just had 2 bad pit stops. We broke 2 air guns and took us out of a top 5 finish to 10th. So, you know, all in all, our year isn't about what we wanted, but, you know, we're hanging in there, and it's going to turn around for us.
Well, you can bet if anybody will turn it around in the race car that this man will do it. Good job, Jimmy. Now let's go to Randy.
Brett Bodine, anytime you can finish in the top 10, you've had a good day. You finished 8th today.
Well, you know, we had a pretty good run considering all the problems we had yesterday. Didn't get any practice like the rest of the guys did, and we basically had to start the car exactly how we were going to start it last week without any practice, and you know, it really hurt us. So the adjustments we needed we couldn't do during the race, and we just tried to patch it the best we could. You know, I'm real happy with the run. Don't get me wrong, because of the problems we've had and all that, but I would have liked to have had a little practice yesterday. We could have made good adjustments.
Nice run today. Mike Joy?
Thanks, Randy. You want to find out how tough this is at Atlanta? Call 704-527-2763. That's the Buck Baker Driving School. Buddy, did you have fun today?
Oh, great. I'll tell you what. We got the best camera crew, and not because I'm on there, but you guys really do a great job on this thing, and I'm just glad to be with all of you.
We had a lot of fun, and we hope you folks had fun watching it. For Neil Bonnet, Buddy Baker, Randy Pemberton, and Glenn Jarrett, I'm Mike Joy, congratulating Morgan Shepherd on his Motorcraft 500 victory. Tune in to TNN Saturday, April 10th, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, when live from Hickory, North Carolina, we bring you the Mountain Dew 400 Busch Series race. So long from Atlanta.